But is it not fair to point out that she just like literally spit roasted fucking Xanderhall over a fucking open fire with a little apple in his mouth because he wasn't paying Cherry? But then it comes out that she's paying her like editor that's underage, mind you, and has chronic health conditions, like literal slave wages. Tyler. But I
haven't asked the question yet, actually.
Tyler. See, guys, we can be serious and goofy. Like, we just had a very serious, long thought out critique of my issues with the journalistic integrity of not only President Sunday, but also Westside Tyler. And we analyzed both sides, we synopsized them fairly, we discussed at length my personal issues, my grievances, and what I wish that we could have done better in the future, and we even, you guys, had a lovely compliment sandwich. And now, we can just make fun of the two bad words fighting meme. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? That's what I love about us, you guys. That's what I love about us, you guys. We can have fun, and we can be bitches, and we can be serious, and we can be haters, and we can be charitable. I love that about us, you guys. I love that about us. We're so great. Fucking base, President Sunday. Let's go. Do you know what disagreeing with me is? A sign of a terminal mental illness. He's so based, guys. Here we go. Here we go. We must first construct a timeline, okay? To figure out where we are, why we're here, and most importantly, how we got here, okay? Everybody stay strapped in. Here we go. Take 2. Let's go. Okay, so now that we're on the right monitor, yay. Okay, so we have to understand the timeline here. There's quite an elaborate timeline, okay? So we're all about to go on a trip, okay? So all of this started long ago, okay? But for brevity's sake, we're going to do recently, okay? So let me get the date on this before I get too far ahead of myself. Let me get the date on this. Take 3. Okay, so let's begin with our timeline. so July 30th, okay? We have Demon Mama nuking Xanderhall, okay? If you guys are not privy, okay, so what ended up happening, Demon Mama and Xanderhall were good buds, okay, in real life buds. They were homies. They were BFFLs, okay, they were attached to the hip. Demon Mama drove down to California and drove Xanderhall up to Washington because Xanderhall doesn't know how to drive. So she did that for him, she loved him, she cherished him, she cared for him. Xanderhall pissed everybody off in the background by being a literal schizo and threatening to kill everybody that he disagreed with, okay, so, and everybody was willing to let this go. And this was something that our Lord and Savior, President Sunday, had brought up in regard to them kind of A-logging this information, but not doing anything about it, except for holding on to it to, like, nuke Xanderhall later in the future. Okay, that's a criticism. I would agree with that criticism, okay? So, Demon Mama patiently waited until Xanderhall started, like, taking pot shots at her, and then she decided to go mask off and say, Xanderhall is actually, like, a schizo and, like, wants to kill people. Which, I mean, we probably could have heard about that a little bit earlier. It probably should have been released, not in regards to the vendetta, right? So, the 29th is when Demon Mama first nukes Xanderhall. Following that, Xanderhall strikes back, right? Xanderhall has his birthday boy stream, and he talks a little bit of shit. And then, 7, so on the 30th, so July 30th, Demon Mama nukes Xan Part 2. So she does it again. Okay, so once wasn't enough. Just, you know, as Hiroshima was not enough. We also had to take out Nagasaki. Okay, so this was the second fat man that was dropped on Xanderhall. Shortly after, and this is because Xanderhall tried to lie publicly about the events that transpired in private, and so Demon Mama went mask off and completely fucking nuked him, okay? Enter the drama, okay? Following this drama, what day would that have been? Following this drama, I believe it was also July 30th. I think President Sunday watched this live. President Sunday essentially burns the bridge with DM. Well, how do I want to phrase this? He didn't really burn the bridge. I guess I should say President Sunday attacks Demon Mama publicly. I can't spell publicly correctly, so you guys are just going to have to suffer, okay? So, Same day, Demon Mama's doing her nuke stream. President Sunday is live reacting to it, as were we all. Yay, girl time. And President Sunday has, like, choice words for Demon Mama. He basically calls her out, like I said a second ago, and said, you know, it's irresponsible that you guys were kind of A-logging this information to flip on Xander Hall when he pissed you off. You weren't really doing it for, like, a virtuous reason. You weren't really doing it to keep others safe. You were doing it because he fucked with you, basically. If he had not fucked with you, you probably would have never published this information. You probably never would have let people know about these allegations. And something that is really important within both of these here, like both of these instances here, is that not only was Zan crazy, Zan also didn't pay his editor. Okay, so those are the two big allegations. Not only is Xander Hall a little cray-cray, Xander Hall also did not pay his editor Cherry Bread for months' worth of work, at the very least $1,500. It could be much more. Okay, so that's how I'm spelling publicly, and if you don't like it, call the police, okay? So, following this, everybody kind of starts reevaluating their relationship with Demon Mama. Because while the tea was scalding, while the tea was delicious, while it was nothing but entertaining to observe happening live in 4K right before my eyes, it was very suspect that this information was held onto and clutched like a little pearl, and saved and reserved for when Xander Hall inevitably pissed off Demon Mama. It wasn't really a concern. It wasn't really, you know, anything that they felt others should know about. It was simply just kind of tucked away in the back pocket to whip out whenever Xander Hall pissed him off, which I think is telling, and I think that's all I really want to say about it, is that's telling. And so generally, as far as Xander Hall is concerned, I think that President Sunday's analysis was actually pretty correct, that this was just, you know, for a public nuking, a public flogging, you know, drag him out to the town square, tar and feather him, because he pissed her off, not based on some kind of principled approach. It could have been, I will be charitable and say that that could have factored into it, but it for sure just seemed like he pissed her off, and that's why she decided to nuke the bridge, okay? So, we have now a little bit of dead air here, okay? We have a little bit of dead air. Xander Hall is streaming from time to time. Xander Hall is, you know, throwing in little shots here and there. He isn't really doing much of anything, okay? He's just kind of doing his same lame shit. He's trying to not, you know, kick the hornet's nest too much, so to speak. However, shortly after this, and this is going to be on August 9th, so August 9th, another content creator enters the arena. Westside Tyler nukes DM. Okay. So Westside Tyler, I'll show you guys this guy's YouTube channel. I think Tyler's funny. I enjoy his content. I think he's funny. Okay. So he does like a lot of political stuff. He has been on really good terms with President Sunday, which is surprising to me because President Sunday isn't really ever on good terms with anyone. President Sunday kind of does his own thing. So Tyler and President Sunday have had many a conversation on stream. They've collaborated more than a dozen times. You know, they're pretty chummy. They get along pretty well. Their communities are pretty commingled. They got along pretty well. Okay. So, what ended up happening was 4 days ago on Friday, Westside Tyler nukes Demon Mama. And part of this nuke was already known information. Okay, so already known information. 8 months ago, we'll say 8 months ago in, what would that be, January? So January, we'll just say January 1st for brevity's sake. Hope and Seethe nukes Fawn. Okay. So, we're getting a little confused here because we're fucking up the timeline, but just follow me. Hold my hand and follow me, okay? Walk with me. I'm taking you on a journey, okay? We're here right now, okay? This is where we're leaving off. We're gonna come up here really quick. In January, a YouTube channel named Cope and Seed that's run by Beckett of Crabs and Jenny Matrix. Jenny Matrix is a trans woman. Did a expose on Demon Mama's partner, Fawn. So, Demon Mama is in a polyamorous relationship with Doe and Fawn. Kind of confusing, they're both tier names. I completely understand. They're different people. Fawn and Doe are two different partners of Demon Mama. Open Seethe's video about Fawn describes in excruciating, disgusting, painstaking, disgusting, disgusting, did I say disgusting detail about Fawn's affinity for lolicon, Shotacon, which is the boy version of Shotacon, and overall degenerate porn consumptions and habits. Okay, so this includes wanting, you know, thousands of pictures of Shotacons, commenting on, quote, little boy dicks, end quote. Just freak, disgusting, degenerate behavior that I think across the board should be condemned. Okay, so that was exposed as early as January. And of course, people were aware of this. Tweets were revealed about this. Tweets were made about this, and obviously, you know, this video didn't really take off, for the lack of a better phrase, okay? Cope and Seethe is a pretty small YouTube channel. It didn't really pick up a lot of traction, but it was public knowledge, okay? It was public knowledge that this is one of Demon Mama's partners into some freaky deaky weird shit, and that we should not be facilitating any of this. Now, Fawn doesn't normally appear on stream. Fawn has appeared on stream in the past, but regardless, this is still somebody that Demon Mama is dating. This is somebody that Demon Mama shares a life with. This is somebody that Demon Mama sleeps in the same bed next to, right? So there is association there. There is association there because they are dating, regardless or not if Fawn cameos on stream regularly, okay? So after this, of course, in February, what was the date of this? I think it was February 16th. We'll say the 16th for brevity's sake. February 16th is the taxes folder incident.
Example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
Yeah. So I hope that I'm not reiterating things that everybody already knows, but, you know, I just like to keep everybody in the know. So in February, Vosh had his incident, taxes folder incident, where he accidentally showed his taxes, quote-unquote, folder on stream, which contained graphic images of lolicon, including I'm told that it's called lost media. I gotta be totally honest, I don't really know what that means. But to my understanding, lost media is like very esoteric lolicon that you have to know where to find it. That like you have to be looking for the specific media. You're not gonna accidentally stumble into like these drawings. Like you have to actually look for them in order to find them. So there were several images. Vosh's defense was, you know, lame as fuck. Whatever. This right here serves only to demonstrate that this behavior is condemnable when it applies to Vosh. Now, following this, there's like this big area in here, okay? I was in this, Keldoge was in this, if you guys know Keldoge, like Chud Logic was in this. Everybody was in this when people were debating if consuming lolicon makes somebody a pedophile. I would say yes. Obviously, that's my position hands down. But this was a hot debate back in the day, you guys. If you weren't around, it was a thing. Okay, so there was this big debate. Okay, and one of the things that came out of this was that there is another content creator, small content creator by the name of Food Shops, who also is very vocal about her consumption of lolicon, and Food Shops was crucified. Rightfully so, in my opinion. Rightfully so. Food Shops was literally killed in a public execution, revived, executed again, revived, executed again, and then they burned her corpse in the town square. Food Shops just got absolutely fucking slaughtered. She got blacklisted off of tons of shows. People wouldn't interact with her. People wouldn't talk to her. People would blacklist people who would talk to her. And all of which I'm okay with, mind you. All of which I have no ethical qualms with at all. I think that we should be as far away from these people as humanly possible. However, these criticisms were not levied against Vosh, which is something to be mindful of, okay? So, notably, President Sunday did go pretty hard on Vosh, and I think that's fair. He deserved the heat for what he was engaged in. And to my understanding, President Sunday is pretty anti-degen. And when I say anti-degen, I'm talking about, like, the lolly, like, furry, like, incest, like, weird shit that, like, everybody is apparently into these days. I don't know. So he has a pretty good barometer for that, in my opinion, okay? So, of course, we're going to come back down to where we were, okay? So we've kind of caught up a little bit. So this degenerate behavior that Vosh engaged in, everybody was mad about. Everybody's known for a long time that Demon Mama's partner, Fawn, also has an affinity for this illicit gooning material that is amoral and disgusting. And so now we are here, okay? So on Friday, Westside Tyler nukes Demon Mama. And there is one thing that is crucial before we get to the nuke. One more thing. hold my hand. We're almost there. Hold on just a little bit longer. Okay. A few days before this, I want to say it was August 5th. I think is when I listened to this. August 5th, Tyler threatens gay fesh. Okay.
If I find your name in my mouth, I'll make sure that you can't use your jaw anymore. You piece of shit.
Gay fesh, our king, monarch, whatever. Gay fesh and I do not like each other. And that's fine. We don't all have to get along, okay? Tyler once described gay fesh as like the creepy butler in a murder mystery. Like anytime something fucking crazy happens, gay fesh just happens to be there. I agree with that characterization. He kind of finds himself in precarious situations around all of the wrong people at very inconvenient times, which I find odd. But I have no like legitimate bad blood with gay fesh. We just don't like each other, and that's fine. I don't really care. There's not much anything deeper than that. I'm pretty sure that gay fesh is also in my Discord server. I don't care. Like I don't like want to kill the guy in a video game. I don't like hate the guy or anything like that. We don't get along, and that's cool. And I think he's kind of weird, but that's okay. He probably thinks I'm kind of weird. Whatever. No bad blood. Well, mild bad blood, I should say. Milquetoast bad blood. Anyway, Tyler, it was revealed that gay fesh and a couple of other people in that kind of orbit or whatever were going really hard at Tyler, okay? And so a hallmark of like this community, and when I say this community, I'm talking like gay fesh, white nervosa, demon mama, doe doesn't really stream anymore. All these people that are like tucked in neatly in this little corner or whatever, a lot of these people will engage in trying to get people's channels taken away that they disagree with. I'm not saying that every single person that engages or is involved tangentially in this clique is directly implicated in this behavior, but it is something that's worth noting, that whenever these people get into conflicts with others, suddenly they're getting like strikes and like getting their shit reported, which I think is fucking weird. I think that's petty shit. I think that's like fucking middle school, like teenage bullshit. Like I'm going to report this, report that. I'm going to tattletale on you and get you in trouble and whatever. I think that shit's lame as fuck. I don't like that at all. So Tyler had come to believe that these people were trying to get his channel taken away. And Tyler, our unhinged king, had said that gay fesh needs to keep his name out of his mouth, or he would like, I can't remember the exact quote. If somebody wants to find me the clip, we can listen to it. But it was like, you're gonna have to reattach your jaw. Was essentially the spirit of what was conveyed. Was that if he kept running his mouth, he was gonna have to readjust his jaw. Something to that effect. Which I put threats here in like these little like, not necessarily like quotes, but you know, like if I'm like, keep running your mouth, like I'm gonna shut it for you, or just like common shit talking, like yes, you could probably perceive that as threatening. I don't disagree with that. I'm sure that somebody could find that threatening, but to say that this was literally like a legitimate threat, that he was gonna like, you know, knock out gay fesh or like come and find out where he lives and like break his fucking jaw, I don't necessarily believe that. We could say that this was aggressive. We could say that it was tasteless. I don't think that this constitutes like a threat, personally. Everybody's metric for that is completely different, of course, but I don't think so. I think somebody just saying, dude, you better watch your mouth or I'm going to watch it for you, that could be perceived as threatening, but that could also just be like normal shit talk, right? Tyler also was digging for gay fesh's name, which I disagree with you guys. Live and let live, like leave people alone. Unless this person is like a pedophile and like working with kids, like don't fucking worry about it, just leave them alone. Like who cares? So he did make allusions that he was going to find gay fesh's real name because he wanted to learn more about him, which I find questionable. And so yeah, that's where we are now. Okay, so this is what provoked this. Okay, the threatening and the brigading and all this other shit is what provoked this. So boom, 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 we're here. Okay, so what, you guys, quick pop quiz for the chat. Quick pop quiz for the chat. If you are calling someone else out on their behavior, what is the number one thing that people love to hate? Okay, if I was going to call somebody out, I'm going to pick on some random person in the chat. Let's say that I'm doing an expose on Barbie. What am I calling her out on? What do you guys hate to see? What is the number one thing that everybody loves to call out online? It starts with an H. I'll give you guys a hint. Don't be shy, you know. Give me your best guesses. It starts with an H. What's the number one thing people like to call out others for? Women. Yes, you're right. No. It's hypocrisy. That's what everybody goes for, because everybody, you guys, hates a fucking hypocrite. And it's the easiest thing to go after because a lot of people are hypocritical, whether it be intentionally or unintentionally. I think unintentional hypocrisy is a part of life. Like, sometimes you are hypocritical, and that happens. And then there's intentional hypocrisy, where I'm going to condemn this person super fucking hard because I hate them, but then I'm going to let that behavior slide with my friends. That's the hypocrisy that people do not like, right? Okay. So, Tyler does a nuke stream on DM. Well, it's not a nuke stream. It's a pre-recorded interview with a couple of things clipped in the beginning and the end. I am not going to play the video because Tyler does say Demon Mama's full name, which I do not approve of. I disavow. Tyler was able to interview an ex-moderator of Demon Mama, and I will synopsize and I will provide the link if you guys would like to watch that on your own time. It's about an hour long, and it's kind of repetitive, so I'm just going to TLDR it for you guys. You're free to watch it on your own time, but I'll synopsize here for everybody who has a short attention span, which if you're with me, we're all in good company. It's very little, okay? So the claims that are made by this person's name is Glooby. He used to be a moderator for Demon Mama. He met Demon Mama when he was 13 years old, and Demon Mama was, I want to say, 26, and they played Overwatch together. Now, on its face, I don't think that there's really anything wrong if you're, like, playing Xbox or whatever, and somebody who happens to be in, like, a party with you or whatever is younger than you. I don't think that's weird. What was alleged that is weird is that Glooby was invited into this inner circle. Glooby was somebody who would do editing and thumbnails and YouTube stuff for Demon Mama at a incredibly low rate. Lower than I think most people are paid to do this kind of work, if I'm being honest. And it was alleged that Fawn, Demon Mama's partner, the one from up here, who likes little children, the PDF, that Fawn was sexually aggressive towards Glooby when Glooby was a minor, and that it was known that Glooby was a minor. Now, the one that stuck out to me in my mind, and I will encourage all of you to go and watch this interview. I'm not going to watch all of it. It's like an hour long. We're not going to do that today. I encourage all of you to go and watch all of this interview. Like, dead serious, just if you take it right from the horse's mouth. I can't synopsize all of it perfectly, obviously. One of the things that stood out to me was that Fawn was showing its dildo collection to Glooby when Glooby was knowingly underage. Okay? So, within that, another criticism that Tyler was very adamant in addressing was that Demon Mama did not pay Glooby an adequate wage for the work that Glooby was doing, which was making thumbnails, naming videos, and things like this. Glooby suffers from Lyme disease, which can cause a whole myriad of health conditions. I have a couple of friends with Lyme disease, and it can be quite debilitating. So Glooby wasn't working at the time. His primary source of income was through Demon Mama and help from his family. Glooby says that at one point, he was getting paid like $2 per thumbnail per video, which is an absurdly low rate. An absurdly low rate, okay? That's quite a discounted price. So, of course, here, we see that Demon Mama is going hard after Xander Hall for what? Being a psychopath and not paying his editor. So what is the hypocrisy here? What is the angle that we are trying to get at? We are, of course, like, going after Fawn because disgusting, but that was already known, okay? We can make an argument that this was brought to a bigger platform or like a wider reach because, Tyler does address the issues with Fawn, which I think is important because, again, the Cope and Seethe video, like, it didn't get very far. Not a lot of people have seen that. And that's kind of a problem. So props for that. But the second part of this is going to be that Demon Mama didn't pay Glooby, right? And the phrase used specifically here is wage theft. Okay? And that's going to be important later. So, apparently, where are all of these bitches who are editing shit for free? Bang my line. What are you guys doing? Hello? Edit my shit for free. What are you guys talking about? What are you guys talking about? What's going on? What's going on? Where are all these free editors floating around? This is nuts, okay? So, with Tyler's video, there are... The main criticism is going to be that it was done poorly, okay? And we'll talk about that more in a second. The second criticism is that it was... how do I want to phrase this? It was done to attack, like, DM, White Forest, the clique. And that it wasn't done out of, like, a want or a desire to actually hold anybody accountable for their behavior. It was just like, I can't wait to shit on these people because they just shit all over Xander Hall, right? Those are the criticisms, okay? So, The criticism that it was done poorly is that it was done with, like, leading questions. In my opinion, in watching the video, like, just the interview, it's about an hour-long video, I don't consider the interview itself to be bad. Not at all. It's like, this, Glooby reached out to Tyler. Tyler did not go looking for Glooby. Glooby came to Tyler to talk to Tyler about Glooby's experience working for Demon Mama, which I think is completely fair. If Tyler wants to do an interview with this person, record it, and then throw it up, that's totally fine. Like, this person came to Tyler in order to talk about, you know, his experiences. Fine, cool, whatever. The bit at the beginning and the bit at the end, I feel were kind of just like shoved in there to kind of make the point, obviously, the hypocrisy argument, but I don't think the interview itself was the problem. Now, when we come down here, obviously, we're here because President Sunday and Tyler are fighting, okay? So what was Sunday's response? Sunday's response was that Tyler did a shitty job, that Tyler endangered Glooby. To what extent, I'm not quite sure. I don't really know if I understand that criticism, to be fair. And that now DM can scrub all her shit. Okay, so this was his reaction. And so, for preface, Tyler sent Sunday the video. Like, DM'd it to him and was like, hey, I'm throwing this fucking video up or whatever. You can watch it if you want, okay? Mind you, the video was already published, but Tyler made a good effort, in my opinion, to, like, at least give Sunday, like, a heads up that this is what he was doing. And Tyler did this because President Sunday has been friendly in the past to Doe and to Demon Mama. I don't know about President Sunday's relationship with Fawn, or if he even has a relationship with Fawn. But he has been very amicable to Demon Mama. He has been overly charitable to her, in my opinion. And same with Doe. And again, I will call attention to, once again, that it has been known for at least 8 months that the people that are involved in this polycule are allowing someone in their polycule who is, like, a pedophile. And I find that to be disgusting. And again, the taxes folder incident, we went hard on that, but for some reason we weren't aware of this. And, you know, maybe President Sunday didn't see the video. Whatever. I don't know. I can't read his mind. But I would imagine that he would be somewhat aware of this because it was a big deal when it happened. Anywho. So, Sunday watches Tyler's video on stream. And President Sunday has not the best response to Tyler, okay? And remember, Tyler and President Sunday fucked with each other, okay? They were buds. They were bros. They were homies, okay? It is the same Doe that fought with RGR. So they're buds, they're homies, they're duders, you know, their communities are melded, they get along well, they have good banter, they're good. But President Sunday is, you know, watching this video, and he kind of prefaces it by saying that, like, Tyler is not all there, really. So Tyler has a traumatic brain injury. Tyler was in the military. He got some kind of injury, and he's pretty open about having a TBI. President Sunday's like, he's not all there. He's a huge asshole. He's really fucking aggro. But let's watch this anyway. This is kind of weird. Just kind of odd. Weird way to phrase that, in my opinion. But anyway, he's watching the video, and his biggest concern is that Glooby is endangered. I don't know what the fuck that means. His next biggest concern is that DM can now scrub all of her shit. So say that there were Discord messages where not safe for work messages were shared between the two of them. Well, Demon Mama can just delete it. Then the evidence is gone forever. Two really important things. One, Tyler already reported this. Tyler's a mandatory reporter. He reported this to, like, the child endangerment, whatever fucking division of the FBI. It's already been reported. Two, fun fact for you guys who don't know, Discord still has all of your shit. It doesn't matter if you press the delete button. They can retroactively go back and look at everything that you fucking sent. It's not like an iPhone where if you hit delete on an iMessage, that shit's gone forever, unless it's on the cloud. With Discord, all of that stuff is kept, like, for quite a while. And if it's subpoenaed, if there is truly a case here of child endangerment, grooming, predating, anything like that, Discord actually can just pull those messages right back. It doesn't really matter. So I understand the concern, but obviously not that big of a concern because they have all of this data stored. Okay, they can still just get it. Okay, they can still recover those messages. Okay. In the course of President Sunday kind of shitting all over this and kind of gesturing vaguely at, you know, concerns, which may be true concerns. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I cannot peer into the soul of others. They may be legitimate concerns. I don't think that they are, because they can be explained away by everything that I just said. Not only is President Sunday being, in my opinion, and I'm going to be soy for like 1 second, everybody, soy. Not only is President Sunday like being legitimately ableist to Tyler, like making fun of the way that he talks, like saying that he has brain damage. I think that he also said that he was like spazzing out or something. Just overall like generally tasteless behavior, especially to somebody that you know has a TBI. That's a little bit much for me, dog. Just a little bit. Like I'm sorry for soy nodding out, but soy. That was a little bit much for me. I felt like that was inappropriate. And then President Sunday actually brings Glooby on stream in the middle of him watching this interview, essentially. So Glooby comes on, and President Sunday has Glooby sit through the interview again. As President Sunday is playing different parts of it. At some point during this, Glooby says, hey, I'm going to go and have a seizure. I'm getting stressed out. I got to go. Okay, so mind you, this is already like probably not something that Glooby is wanting to do, but it is doing anyway. So Glooby was on the call for a brief moment in time, talking to President Sunday. Glooby said, I think I'm going to have a seizure, took off, and then there was a different moderator that came on. And so President Sunday and Tyler are basically arguing over like, who's the safer hit piece reporter? Like who's the safer person to like come to disclose information? That's kind of like what they're arguing about. Like at this point, at least from my perspective, is like Tyler will say, oh, well, no one's ever going to come to you to talk about their story because of the way that you treated this other mod and, kind of like Glooby or whatever. And then President Sunday is like, well, you totally fucked this up because now, nothing's going to be solved and blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like we're just fighting over nothing, really. And so I would agree, Boo-Boo, like just kind of kicking the guy off in the middle of the conversation. Very weird behavior. A choice to be made. I see both sides. I am being fair. But in my opinion, what this comes down to, and for me, and Tyler and President Sunday argued last night on No Comment Chicks chat or stream. Insane crossover. I didn't even know that, like, I didn't even know how No Comment Chick got involved in here. But so they argued last night, and that's what we're going to watch. But up to here, this point here. So we have this elaborate schizophrenic timeline. Okay, we've laid it all out. We've pieced it together in our minds. We have a visual aid here to help guide us. You know what I mean? My general takeaway, and this is over many, 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 many years of content. Okay, I've been watching like Twitch politics shit and like all like this esoteric drama or whatever the fuck for a very long time. Okay, in my biggest critique, I would say there's two things. Is one, I think that Sunday is right that Tyler is kind of using this as a stepping stone to like step up and like bat up higher than where he's currently at. Like the people that he can reach right now, they're pretty low on the totem pole. So he's using this as an opportunity to get a leg up and climb the tower in order to go after the bigger fish, so to speak, right? Because yes, the weird sexting shit and everything with Fawn, that's more than enough for me. The wage thing definitely comes across as hypocritical, that Demon Mama cared an awful lot about Xander Hall not paying Cherry, and then, paid her editor poorly. There's not a lot of evidence of any of this stuff, and obviously people like to see evidence. People go crazy for it. But based on the way that Fawn talks about little Shota dicks all the time, I'm really not like shocked Pikachu that she was doing some weird fuck shit with minors in the Discord. That's not surprising news to me at all. I could have probably predicted that. The wage theft thing is it is hypocritical in my opinion if you're bitching about somebody not paying their editors and then you're paying your editor shitty, whatever. But it seems like these two things should have been separate. Like they should not have been lumped together on Tyler's part, that they shouldn't have been consolidated and smushed into like one interview. We should have done one or the other. We shouldn't have put them together because it does read to anybody sitting on the outside that he is just kind of like batting higher than where he's at, right? That he doesn't like, it's almost like somebody tells you about like their horrific like rape and molestation and you're like, wow, that's crazy. So Tell me about that time that McDonald's laid you off unjustly. It's kind of like, we're kind of like jamming these two things together that like don't need to be together, right? So that is my criticism for Tyler. I didn't like that. That seemed like a mistake, both like optically and then also for what you're trying to do. If Glooby just wants to like talk about their experience and, you know, share like the way that he was treated by Demon Mama, I would make the decision. If somebody came to me, I'd be like, dude, you need to separate these two things. Because if you want to talk to me about Demon Mama, you know, like not paying you, that's one conversation. But this shit with Fawn, this is some serious shit, bro. We should dedicate some time to talk about that, right? Like, yes, I completely understand that you feel slighted and wronged by the way that you were treated in the community. That's important. But the big thing here is that you were potentially groomed. That's a big deal. We should kind of disaggregate these two things and talk about them in separate venues with the appropriate tone, right? Like that's what I would say. That would be my criticism for Tyler. My criticism for President Sunday in the many years that I have been privy to Sunday content is, you know, the meme, the ContraPoints meme, where it's like, these people don't want power. They want to endlessly critique power. That's how I feel like President Sunday is with hit pieces. Good night, Nobal. I love you. I feel like President Sunday has a really high standard for what he considers like a hit piece, or what he considers like going after someone or doing an expose. Like, he has a very, very high bar. And then when people make these video exposés, or they do these interviews, or they do these takedowns, or they do these nuke streams, he's dissatisfied with what is produced, but he never produces them. If this is something that you're concerned about, which he claims that he is, and I have no reason to believe that he's not, but if he is concerned about the treatment of Glooby, if he is concerned about Fawn, and if he's concerned about the optics around presenting Glooby and Glooby's statement and all this other shit, why don't you do it then? We have people that are willing to do the interview. Well, first, Glooby came to Tyler, but Tyler was willing to facilitate this. To my understanding, Tyler tried to collaborate with Sunday in the production of this. I find it to be very, very interesting that with all of this considered, he's not the one that is doing any of the work. He just wants to criticize what has already been published, right? He did the same thing with the Mr. Girl article. He did the same thing with... What was the other one? I just had two in my brain. The one that's sticking out to me the strongest right now is the Mr. Girl article, where he was like, yes, like maybe Destiny is, you know, being sexually inappropriate with all these girls, but you did a shit job writing this. It's like, okay, well, then why didn't you write it? I think that's fair. If you, like, I think of every single, like, expose, even Demon Mama's stream about Xander Hall, endlessly criticizing that, endlessly criticizing the Destiny report, endlessly criticizing this, endlessly criticizing that. It's like, okay, it sounds to me like you have a very high standard of quote-unquote journalistic integrity, if you can call it that. You're right, he did do the same thing with Poppy and Xena. If you have this very high standard of what you think constitutes like a proper takedown with proper evidence, with proper handling, with proper safety guards in place and all this other stuff, why don't you do it then? Why do you just want to endlessly bitch about other people that are doing it, especially with this, when he had the opportunity to assist? Because Tyler did get information from President Sunday about Demon Mama that he used in the nuke stream or the nuke video that he did here on the 9th. He asked President Sunday for help during this. So that's my perspective in all of this, is I think that Fawn's a fucking freak, degenerate, porn sick weirdo. I think that Demon Mama is a hypocrite. And I think that Demon Mama is selectively outraged at certain behavior and only exposes it when it behooves her or when she feels slighted or wronged, which I think is vastly inappropriate. And I find it absolutely disgusting that she is willing to not only keep company with, but share a bed with a pedophile. I think that's problematic, of course. And in regard to President Sunday and Tyler, I think that Tyler made an error in judgment, smashing too many things into one video, where he was not only discussing the issue concerning pay in regards to Glooby being an editor for Demon Mama, but also with the very serious accusations of Glooby being groomed by Demon Mama's partner. These two things should not have been smashed together, and it was something that probably could have been done a little bit more tactfully and with a little bit more appropriate tone, given what was discussed in that interview, right? And on President Sunday's side, I think that President Sunday can be funny. I think that President Sunday has good takes from time to time, as do all people, broken clocks and what have you. But he has an incredible gift of foresight, but he never uses it to behoove others. He only uses it to behoove him. And I think that President Sunday is somebody who will endlessly critique, but never be the person to do the thing that he's critiquing. He's got a lot of problems with the way that this was put together and that was put together, and this should have been done this way and this should have been done that way. And it's like, well, okay, well, why don't you do it? If you can do so much better, okay, do it. Like, I totally hear you. Like, that's fine. Maybe this was a shitty fucking video. Maybe this was a shitty fucking expose. Maybe it was slop that was thrown together at the last minute and fucked over everybody and fucked up everything. Okay, well, then why don't you make one? Apparently, you have the gift of foresight, which I believe President Sunday is pretty insightful in that regard. Okay, well, then why don't you do it? You're the one that is close, or was close, not only to Demon Mama, but also to Doe, and approximately Fawn. Obviously, I can't substantiate that they were like very close, as close as Doe or Demon Mama, so to speak, but you are close to these people. You don't think that you have a unique insight here? You don't think that you have a unique criticism to bring to the table? You don't have a unique angle to kind of to do this? And the thing that I will say is that President Sunday is somebody who says that he's above the drama. I don't think that's true. He's definitely not. He rolls around in it just as much as everybody else does. But a lot of the topics that he takes very high moral umbrage with are not things that are quote unquote drama. Fawn allegedly grooming a minor. That's not drama. That's something that's like a big fucking deal. Okay, that's a big fucking deal. Demon Mama ripping off her editor that was ill and a minor while shitting on other people, for quote-unquote wage theft, while also like hiding secret information, not only about Xander Hall, but about Keffels as well, and saving it for a rainy day when she feels like pulling it out of her back pocket for her Yu-Gi-Oh! Reverse trap card. All of these things are worthy of criticism. None of these things really feel like drama to me. These things feel like you're indicting someone's character, and at least in the situation of Fawn, I wouldn't say that this is something that's like a fucking big deal, especially because Tyler reported this. Like this, I wouldn't say this is drama, and especially if it's something that you personally have a hand in. To me, I'm out here, so I can comfortably say like it's quote unquote drama because I'm all the way over here. I'm not involved in any of this shit. So for me, sitting on the outside, it's fun to like sit on the outside and peer in, through the glass and what have you. I'm not personally invested in it. As somebody who did have a prior relationship with these people, I would expect that you would want to have, a little bit more of a say in any of this, at least in my opinion. And I could be wrong. But that is my perspective in this. Is Tyler could have done better. Demon Mama could make better choices all around. Fawn's a sick fucking freak. And President Sunday wants to endlessly critique everybody without, stepping up and doing what he criticizes against. You know what I mean? And that's kind of my perspective on the whole thing. That's pretty much what it comes down to for me, anyway. So that is our timeline. We're going to minimize that. Tyler and President Sunday were on No Comment Chick's stream last night, kind of hashing this out. And there are multiple videos involved in this thing. Okay, there's quite a few different videos. There's Tyler's video. There's Sunday watching the video. Sunday did another live stream shitting all over Tyler. Tyler posted a message in his Discord server about Sunday. Like there is a lot of content building up to this. The timeline that we have constructed is a very TLDR, highly condensed, just quick little blurb here before we get into the video. And quick blurb I say, as this was probably about 45 minutes of an introduction, which will have to be deeply, deeply cut down, which is okay. But that's where we're at with this, okay? That's where we are right now with this, so.
Anybody remember what Tyler said, chat? Oh, here we go. I literally have to go, but he's actually making shit up. You just were all lying, so I didn't involve him in any of this because I already thought he was too close to this. And what he says before that is, yeah, I can't watch Sunday justify dumping my DMs on stream like a baby. Also, he gave me literally next to nothing. So he's disputing your claim that you were giving him information for his investigation.
That's what I understood to be Demon Mama's first name, age, that of her partners.
It seems...
inside information about the background of their community, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there's not a ton to give out, and he didn't actually present a ton in his video, so I'm not entirely clear what exactly he's referring to. I would like to preamble anything that I say here by highlighting that Tyler is dealing with a rather painful back injury. I'm given to understand that he is currently on morphine. So I'm going to be more generous than I would normally be.
This part is also just, I don't know, it's just interesting the way that President Sunday chooses to talk about this. I think if I had like one mega mind or like mega like criticism, it's just the way that he talks about Tyler in a lot of these is really off-putting to me, especially when he's like going in on him for the way that he talks and some of the issues that he has regarding his traumatic brain injury. I find that to be really inappropriate. Also, Tyler has like a pretty serious back injury, and he elaborates that he went to the hospital for his back pain, and they gave him a morphine injection, and those don't last very long at all. And you know, if you are somebody who has struggled with chronic pain, if you're somebody whose pain threshold is like very high and you're taking a lot of pain medication, not in like you're getting high kind of way, but you have a high tolerance for pain medication as a whole, you're not going to be like high as fucking nuts from one morphine injection. That's just not really how that works. So I do have my soy hat on, you guys. My soy hat is on, and it is strapped, and it is ready, and it is tightly cinched around my head, so it's not going to fall off. I do find it tasteless, the way that he keeps going after Tyler and his injuries. It seems kind of shitty, in my opinion, especially, you know, for somebody who was your bud for a little bit there. I think that that's pretty low, and, you know, it's like, aren't we all on the left, you guys? Don't we not like ableism? I don't know. I'm being soy, but I don't know. It was just kind of off-putting to me. It made it hard for me to like want to agree with Sunday or like be on his side where it's like, no, you don't really have to be like this shitty about it though, for real. You know what I mean?
Tyler has a policy. This is not entirely pertinent, but just as a point of information. Tyler has a policy of if you share something with him in DMs, then you must have an expectation that should he find a use for it in public, he will publish it. And he says this regularly. So this is a little bit strange, but more to the point.
To be fair though, I feel like that is, again, maybe I'm just being a hater. Maybe that's me, but like, if I'm messaging like another content creator, I would imagine that like if I say something like hella juicy, or if they say something like hella juicy, short of being like, hey, this isn't public, like don't say anything about it, like people are like sloppy little goblins, you know, and I'm not excluded from that at all. I think it's fine for Tyler to be transparent, where it's like, hey, if you spill some hot goss like in my DMs, you know, I'm not going to keep that shit private, just as a heads up. So if you have hot goss to spill, like, don't spill it to me. Take umbrage with, because would you prefer that he didn't say anything and then leaked all of your DMs when something juicy came up? Probably not, right? Like, I would prefer if somebody was just upfront about, hey, if you share this information with me, I'm not going to keep it private, so don't. I think that's fair. But, I mean, whatever.
The reason why I showed my DMs on stream, and I'll show you this directly so you have a point of reference here.
Sure.
The reason why I showed my DMs on stream is not to be petty. The reason why I showed my DMs on stream, why do I not have you in my DMs here? You were just added. What do you call on Discord? NCC?
Just no comment check.
I can't even find you. That's bizarre.
I sent you a friend request.
I think
earlier.
I accepted it. Hang on, I'll just find you in. Here,
I don't know
here you
why
go.
I'm
You
being
can pop this on the
punished.
screen
Okay,
if you
there we
like.
go.
It'll come up in the VOD you're watching, anyways. But near the bottom, roughly the bottom third, at the paragraph beginning with Sunday, third paragraph down.
Gotcha.
He says, Sunday, you cannot call into question my investigative standards when the things that occurred happened under your nose. I have had several conversations with you where you ran cover for these individuals, downplayed even the possibility of abuse, all the while suggesting the more severe issues likely didn't extend as far as I suspected. You read that? You can see that?
So my first instinct here is that my memory is that President Sunday and Demon Mama and all of them have been on good terms, and that they're kind of in the same clique and they kind of all run together. So based on what's presented right here, I would believe that, right? Because that's what I've seen. It might have been different in the last 8 months, to a year, but to my recollection, that is true, that they were all kind of you know, in good company together, and they would all kind of, you know, scratch each other's back, quid pro quo, what have you, so on and so forth. So, I mean, it would make sense to me that it's possible that he was kind of sweeping. It's possible. That's possible to me. But let's just keep going. Let's just see.
Yeah. I'm putting it on screen. Is that okay with you?
Be my guest, absolutely.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm showing my DMs, and the reason why I went through all of my DMs, is because he made a very specific accusation that we had conversations in which I not only defended Demon Mama, etc., concerning abuse, but where I also downplayed even the possibility of abuse, and that I suggested that the more severe issue...
I want to pause really quick because Rat said, I think Tyler makes a valid point about them all kind of having sway over each other because of White Leaf's structure. He's right to scrutinize how stuff goes. I don't disagree with you, but there's two things that I will say in response to that. Is one, he's sweeping with too big of a brush. So if he wants to go after, you know, White Forest, and he wants to go after White Nervosa, and he wants to go after their incentive structure, I think those are all things that are fair to criticize and things to bring up and say, like, hey, it's kind of weird how this is ran, don't you guys think? I think that's totally fair. However, he should not convolute that with serious accusations of one of the people that is involved in this clique being a literal groomer. That's probably a mistake. And then two, a lot of his positions on this are speculative. I think that, like, given, if you turn the logic wheel enough, like, you can kind of make assumptions and leaps to just about anything. But I don't disagree that there is this very interesting and strange structure surrounding White Leaf and the way that it's organized and blah, 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 and all this other shit. I don't disagree with you, but coming at it from the perspective of, you know, Tyler, who came to with this information about somebody in Demon Mama's immediate orbit, somebody that Demon Mama is literally dating, grooming, allegedly, a minor, and then also consuming, you know, essentially drawn CP and CSAM material. I think that those two things should be disaggregated because it does a disservice to the former allegation, which is much more serious. I think that was just a mistake grouping these things together because I don't disagree with you. I think that, you know, his criticisms are fair to bring up as far as White Leaf is concerned, but I think that he's going about it in the wrong way. He's attacking, like, if I can draw a loose analogy to Hitler, okay? One of the issues with Hitler in World War II, and one of the reasons that he fucked up was because he was attacking everybody, right? Like, he declared war on the U.S., he declared war on the U.K., he declared war on Russia, and he overextended himself, right? That was like a fucky-wucky on Hitler's part, so to speak, right? Like, he was biting off more that he could chew. And I think that that's what Tyler is doing right here. If I can just draw a very loose analogy to Hitler, okay? It's like he has criticisms and concerns about White Leaf. He wants to go after those. Fair enough. But he's taking the opportunity to attack it from every single angle, even if it makes him look bad. Because it does look bad if somebody comes to you and they say, hey, I used to be, you know, part of this clique. I was underage. I was groomed, allegedly. That isn't like the open the gates and start charging kind of thing. That's like this is a totally separate issue. And if you want to intuition pump that into the sunset, that's something that you do in the background because it compromises the integrity of the allegations of something as serious as grooming, right? That's what I would say, because I don't disagree with you on principle that, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that there probably is something to look into as far as like White Leaf is concerned, because that whole kind of like structure thing is kind of weird to me. I don't really vibe with that. But I think he's going about it in the wrong way. And I would like to say that there were significantly more problems with World War II and Hitler, obviously. But in the context of overextending your resources and kind of like swinging at everything that's in your immediate, you know, peripheral vision is not a good way to conduct any kind of investigation, nor is it a good way to like uncover, you know, more dirt about White Forest or whatever. It just puts him out a lot further than he needs to be. He's like, he's trying to grab everything all at once, and he should slow down a little bit, okay? And I don't like Hitler. I disavow Hitler, by the way. Hitler is bad. I do not like Hitler. I was just saying it's a common thread of overextending your resources, apparently. And I'm not comparing Tyler to Hitler, okay? I'm not doing that. I would like to be clear, okay?
Issues likely didn't extend as far as Tyler expected. I have done no such thing. And so I went through my DMs to show that, because he is referring to our private conversations when he says that we've had those conversations.
That was the stream that we watched yesterday, so I can confirm what Sunday is saying. That, like, from at least my point, unless I just vastly missed something, right? There was no what he's making a claim of was not shown, and you showed every single DM from your very first, encounter with him to the very last thing that you said to him.
I've also been sent a screenshot from your chat from earlier, saying that I leaked DMs in his community, which I did not. That's a strange statement. I want to reiterate once again. My issue has nothing to do with him targeting Demon Mama. Again, like to the extent that I could, I assisted him with this, and you can see that in my DMs with him, and I encouraged him to continue doing so. I didn't tip off Demon Mama or Doe. In fact, they were very, very upset when they saw me release those DMs on stream for the precise reason that they had no warning of this. And which made me sad. I'm not going to lie. That kind of sucked. But leaving that aside.
So this is what I'm talking about. This is where the vibe comes in that, like, he's concerned with preserving the relationship. Even if he hasn't had, like, close, like, intimate conversations with them, if he isn't, like, DMing them regularly, if they aren't still, like, in close contact, that's the kind of sentiments where people are like, like, are you sure that you're not, like, compromise is a very strong word, so I don't want to use that word, but are you sure that you're not, like, a little bit more, invested in them as, the polycule than you say you are? That, I think that's, where people are coming at that from, because it's like they were upset that I shared these DMs on stream. It's like, okay, well, at least from their side then, they were assuming that you guys had, like, a positive relationship still. And that's where a lot of people are kind of like, was Sunday actually, like, very distanced from them? Or is he just saying that now because he doesn't want to get in trouble for associating with them after all this shit came out? You know what I mean? That's, yeah.
It's odd that he's making this decision, because my issue with his expose has nothing to do with who it's targeting or why, or with the use of a primary source, or with the lack of evidence. My issue is that he delivered it in such a way as there were potentially compromising claims made by Tyler, an attempt to loop.
I want some explanation on what these compromising claims are, because I'm not sure I would agree with that. I think that he's going to go on and say, like, oh, well, because he lumped all this shit together, it looks really fucking stupid. I'm going to completely agree with that. But I don't really, I have to be totally honest, and maybe this is just, maybe one of you guys know what he's saying, but, like, when he's saying that he's, like, compromising Glooby, like, what does that mean? Like, what is he, like, what's compromised here? I don't necessarily understand that.
His source into a larger scale vendetta that itself is not evidenced against other people by asking his source. Because I think at the beginning he says something like, this White Forest group, this Vosh group, this is like a cult. And I thought it was crazy, but it turns out, who else thinks this is kind of possible is this source here. And then he feeds him, he's like, do you think this is kind of like a cult? Which is not something you do, because what you're doing then is you're essentially giving them half of a thought and then letting them just follow where that leads naturally. That's the nature. That's why it's called a leading question, because you're leading them to a specific conclusion. The testimony by Glooby, I think, is very believable. I see nothing about it that is unlikely. At the very least, I think it should be a serious cause for concern. I think it should precipitate paying a lot more attention to what these people are doing. And in addition to all of this, I think it's overall a good thing that, fraught as its delivery is, I think the interview itself is a good thing to publish. My problem here is that Tyler has tried to deploy this as a kind of promotional for other investigations and other hit pieces, and he's risked compromising this case to do so.
Yeah.
See, I want to understand what this means, because, like, on, like, a very broad level, I don't disagree, right? Like I said, like, part of the issue is that he's kind of overreaching what he's trying to do, because he's lumping in everything with the same, claim of this is, like, mega fucked up, with things that are, like, scalably more mega fucked up. Like, the grooming thing is, like, a big thing on its own. He didn't have to throw in all the extra shit. So, like, I agree to an extent, but, like, I don't understand, like, what the compromising nature is here. Because, like, regardless of how you feel, what's presented is still pretty damning, at least in regard to Fawn. And then, obviously, if you're somebody who cares a lot about the hypocrisy angle and the wage theft, quote unquote, from the staff or whatever, like, I feel like the case is still there. Like, yeah, maybe he did like a shitty job delivering it, but again, I think that this comes back to my like main criticism of Sunday is where it's like, okay, if this was like such a shitty job and these are things that you are concerned about and you think they're worth looking into and worth addressing and blah blah blah, it's like, okay, instead of just endlessly critiquing other people who are doing that, why don't you do it yourself? Because obviously you seem to believe that you would do it in a more ethical and correct and advantageous way or whatever. Okay, then why don't you do it? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
As a consequence of not like, because I talked to Glooby after this, and I got corroborating screenshots within 5 minutes that Tyler didn't even bother to ask for. Things like, hey, did you talk about this with anyone else? I know you don't have screenshots from way back when, because I don't know why you would be expected to have those. That would be unfair. But have you, by any chance, mentioned this to anybody else before this whole thing went down recently? And it turns out Glooby did, and that's important because it establishes that this was not made up recently. This gives Glooby's story more credibility for people who don't know any of the parties involved, and who might be skeptical for whatever reason, especially people who might be sort of like around Demon Mom's community and might be used to seeing things brushed off as this is just the usual yearly obligatory Vosh hit piece, or this is just the usual, grooming moral panic about trans people, etc., etc. And as a consequence of rushing this thing out to make content, what Tyler's done is he's tipped off the abuser in advance so that they can now go through all of the content that he hasn't investigated and delete it before anybody else can.
And see, this is just kind of moot because Discord saves all of that information. So if there is, a legitimate investigation that comes out of all of this, and the proper legal authorities are looking into it, and they're following up on it, and they're gathering evidence, and they're planning to move forward with it, Discord keeps all of that shit. It's not like an iPhone. It's not like you hit delete and it's gone forever. They can... I wanted to say revive. That's not the right word. They can retrieve all of these messages even if they've been deleted. So sure, it can make that process a little bit harder. I don't disagree with that for sure, but there's quite literally no reason that if anything does come of this investigation, and if Tyler is a mandatory reporter and Tyler believes that there was exploitation and grooming that occurred here and that it might still be going on with other individuals, he did the right thing by reporting it, for one. But two, after that, it's kind of left everybody else's hands. That's when it's going to be it doesn't matter, because even if Tyler did report it, didn't say anything about it, they're still going to get notified that it was reported, and then they can do the same fucking thing. It's not like the day that they get the report and they disclose, hey, we have to look into your shit or whatever, they're going to go and, just leave everything sitting neatly on their desktop, pinned, grooming chats like that. Either way, this material can be accessed. It might be more difficult to get, but I mean, it's not like it's lost forever. These messages can still be retrieved if they exist, right?
That's a really...
Theo also brings up a really good point, but if Cope and Seed already made a hit piece, wouldn't it have been deleted by then? I mean, probably, yeah. I would imagine if it was called out a long time ago that, Fawn, and actually, you guys are all here. You guys are all here. When was the last time that Fawn was on stream? Because if my memory serves correct, and I could be completely wrong, so somebody please check me on this. If my memory serves correctly, following the Cope and Seed video, Fawn wasn't on stream, period. Because Fawn was very rarely on stream in general, but I think after that, Fawn stopped going on. I could be totally fucking wrong and just pulling this out of my ass, but I am almost positive that was one of the, if I had to mind read, that's what I would say. But I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. And that is true. Lulu also points out that Demon Mama did message Glooby before Tyler even posted the interview, that Demon Mama knew that shit was going haywire and that Glooby was probably going to roll. So if there were messages to be deleted, they would have been deleted regardless, whether it was due to the Cope and See the video or whether it was due to Demon Mama's acute awareness that she was about to have, something dropped on her or her partners, right? There's no reason to believe that if things were deleted, it was strictly because of Tyler. Because I think that there's a lot of things that would go into that calculation if they were going to delete stuff. But
really bad thing to do. And I want to be clear, I don't think Tyler was malicious. I think Tyler was irresponsible. And right now, Tyler is, I am told, on very heavy sedatives, so I don't want to be too hard on him for what he's saying here. Except that it's untrue and he's going out of his way to slander me, which I really don't appreciate. I've been on his side from...
I would also, like, President Sunday is alluding to the slander here as Tyler saying that he defends Demon Mama and company. And again, like, I can't say definitively, right? I can't. In my opinion, I cannot substantiate this. This is my opinion, is that I think that he, like, has had really cordial relationships with all of them, and that, yeah, he probably would be hesitant to, like, fuck over his friends, because they were friends. So it would make sense to me that, you know, he was, at the very least, for a time there, covering for them. That would make sense to me. And furthermore, I think that it is worth mentioning that pointing out that you had a relationship with these people and therefore, like, your judgment might be clouded, I don't necessarily know if that is considered, like, libelous. You know what I mean? Like, he is very upset about this categorization of this. And I mean, yes, if you're being accused of covering for a fucking pedophile, I could understand why that would upset you. I'm not surprised by that at all. But it is interesting that it's like we're taking this really aggressive, presumptive stance that, like, none of this can be corroborated. And of course, none of it can be, because Tyler claims that all of the conversations where President Sunday was sweeping for them was in voice chats and not over DMs, so they couldn't be screenshotted or shared or anything like that. But mind you, again, Tyler was very clear and said, hey, if you drop hot goss in my DMs, I will leak it if it becomes relevant. So it would make sense to me in turn that if, you know, President Sunday was going to sweep for anybody in this situation, he would do it over a voice call, because he knows that Tyler would share it if it was juicy enough. So there's, like, a lot of conflicting interests here. There's a lot of things that kind of, like, make me raise my eyebrows, and there are also things that are making me feel like I'm getting whiplash. But that's where we are right now.
Go, and my critiques were always couched in, hey, I'm on your side. Why don't we quickly look for more information while we can? And he took offense to this because I guess his ego's wrapped up in it. It's just deeply frustrating.
Yeah, like the feeling that I got was your attempts to corroborate everything, to get verification, and to dot all the I's and cross all the T's was taken by him as maybe like an attempt to sandbag. Like, the only thing that I can figure out, like, looking at it from his perspective, is that he seems to think that you are gaining his trust by leading him to believe that you are more invested and more on his side, as you said, than you really are, and that the end game would be to kind of sandbag the investigation, like that you're kind of the inside man.
Well, I would ask to what end, because I've condemned Demon Mama and I've said Glooby's testimony is
it does seem like
sincere.
that bridge is pretty burned.
And
at this point. Yeah.
It was burned long in advance of this on Demon Mama's side, and Doe very recently has also burned that bridge itself. Like, this is. And
then the other thing that I think is interesting is that he never elaborates on what this bridge burn is, at least in my opinion. And again, I'm being a little crazy, because we're all a little crazy in here. Okay, we already made, like, our schizo timeline and shit. But, like, I find it interesting that he's saying, like, yes, I burned these bridges a long time ago, but, like, why? What happened? Like, can we get a crumb of context? Like, apparently you guys haven't been cool for a very long time. So conveniently, now that Tyler is saying that you guys are tighter than you say that you are, I don't think that I've ever heard him elaborate on why they were not, like, homies anymore. I have never heard that explanation. And I don't believe that he says so in this conversation either. So, okay, you guys aren't friends anymore. Okay, why? What happened? What did you burn the bridge over? What did we go nuclear over? Because I don't know. No one really knows. I don't know.
And in all of this, like, if I was sandbagging them, I would probably alert them to this taking place.
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
If anybody's given them sort of the heads up, it seems to be, him by rushing this forward. Now, I think his claim was something to the effect that the victim, Glooby in this case, wanted this to come forward as early as possible. And so that was that was what he was operating on.
Well, but I don't know if that's the case. Did he say that in chat tonight?
Oh my gosh, where did I get that chat? Did he say that in chat tonight? He must have, right? Because we haven't watched any of his content. He hasn't said anything other than on Discord about this, and it did come. Can anybody confirm that for me, that was something that he said in chat?
Because this coming out as soon as possible, first of all, it doesn't make sense. Secondly, it still begs the question, why are we insisting upon trying to loop this into the narrative that Tyler's been trying to build with his content overall about people in this sphere being guilty of specifically wage theft? And to be clear, I don't think Glooby was paid very well, but wage theft is very particular. It has to do with your owed wages being taken from you. The issue with Glooby is that this was a minor who needed to be I mean, actually registered in order to justify paying specifically low wages, but leaving that aside, this was a minor who was out of his depth, who probably we can expect would possibly have some difficulty advocating for themselves, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah, you're right. Gayfesh notoriously does not like President Sunday. Gayfesh mods for Demon Mama and like a bunch of adjacent communities and shit like that. And so President Sunday got banned from a lot of communities. And to my understanding, he was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, Gayfesh is being crazy. What the fuck is going on? And they were like, I don't know. So, I mean, that makes sense to me, but like, he makes it seem like they did something fucked up, and maybe this is just me like reading into it really hard, so if that's the case, please disregard. But he makes it sound like there was like this big like fucking epic like, I don't associate with them anymore because they did this and this, and like fuck them, and the bridge is burnt, it's been burnt to a crisp. Like, when somebody says shit like that, I imagine that something like pretty fucking crazy happened. I'm not imagining like, oh, one of your moderators went rogue and like blocked somebody. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just my opinion. So I don't know, either way. They have been very amicable in the past, and that causes me to raise an eyebrow personally. And I understand if others may feel differently than me. That is completely fine. However, I am suspicious of this claim that he has not ever ran cover for them, because at the very least, I knew that he and Doe had been very, very close. Like, not like very, very close, but like they were pretty good buds there for a while, and he had a lot of nice things to say about Doe and so on and so forth. And, you know, I would imagine that there's maybe a little bit more to that sentiment than we're letting off. But that's just my intuition pumping, okay? So you can disagree, of course, but that's my opinion, or my read.
And so when their channel had like a dry period, and the percentages that were being doled out to all the different contributors were like drastically reduced, he probably has no way to go like, hey, I understand things are bad, but I gotta eat. Can you like, can we work this out like a more confident adult might do? We're talking about someone who's very young. Like, things like this are where this becomes like severely problematic. If you loop it into something that's very easily dismissed because it is technically incorrect, and it has to be technically correct when we're talking about things like wage theft, that's not good, because it means that Glooby's claim and the broader issues can be dismissed using that as a foil.
And I wonder why there wasn't any attempt to confirm that, right?
And I will say, I'm pausing a lot, I apologize. I will also say, like, this autistic fixation on, like, oh, well, it's not technically wage theft, it's only technically, it's like, I think that everybody kind of gets the gist of what is trying to be conveyed here. That, like, Demon Mama was, like, ripping this kid off, basically, and having them do, like, a shit ton of work for little to no money, which would be like a laughable thing if I asked somebody to make like thumbnails and upload videos for me, and I was like, you can have $2 a video. That's fucking nuts. That's a joke. Like, no, absolutely not. I think that like the pedantic hand wringing around like, oh, you have to use the exactly correct phrase is like, it's like one of those smaller things where it's like, okay, technically you're correct, but like, who fucking cares? Like, fun fact, did you know that like an optometrist and an ophthalmologist are like two totally different fucking things? When you go to the eye doctor, you're going to like an ophthalmologist, you're not going to an optometrist. Like, it'd be like somebody like screaming at me like, no, you didn't go to the fucking optometrist, you went to the ophthalmologist, you fucking idiot. These distinctions make sense and they're necessary. Language. It's like, I don't like tomato. Like the hyper like fixation on the semantic differences is like, I think that everybody knows exactly what we're talking about here, is where somebody is getting ripped off or like not being paid fairly. Like, when somebody says wage theft, I'm not thinking of it in this esoteric niche like fucking philosophy bro language. I'm thinking of it where it's like, oh, like you got ripped off, somebody ripped you off. Like, maybe that's me, but that's the way that I hear it. So again, it's like a small point that you can win on, but we might win the battle, you guys, but are we going to win the war? That's the important question.
Right, because if we want to talk about wage theft, we got to establish some sort of a contract or an agreement, or at least something spoken or DM'd between the two of them that implies.
I don't think we even need to go that far. I think he actually, for the brief period that he was focusing on the minority status of the person, I think that was minority status is the wrong word. Sorry, the minor status of the person.
Right.
I like that should be sufficient to go like, okay. This on top of everything else makes this kind of weird. So we also have a working relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have a working relationship with a minor. So there's some level of financial dependence. And the partner of the employer is sending this person inappropriate images and so on and so forth. Like, this actually compounds with the previous thing if it's handled correctly. But he didn't do that. He switched.
Actually, I'm going to rescind my earlier statement. Earlier, I said that I felt like Tyler smashed a lot of things together that didn't need to be together. And while I still, with like 90% agreement, will stand by that. However, I do think, in retrospect, now that I'm hearing this again, I think that it actually makes sense to bring up the fact that Glooby was actually employed by Demon Mama, because I think that factors in a little bit more as well to the idea of like, you're like, I think that it was like 16 when Glooby started working for Demon Mama. You're 16, you're working for this content creator that's big to you, you know, like this, wow, this is so cool. I get to do editing and I'm making money and like, this is so fucking sick or whatever. You're working for this person and then this person's partner is being like a fucking freak to you in DMs. And then not only is this person being a fucking freak to you in DMs, your boss is kind of like, oh no, that's just fun. That's just how they are, right? Yeah, that's, so I rescind my earlier statement. Like the employment thing I think is important to factor in. But again, I still feel like we were smashing a lot of things together that did not need to be like put together. Like the employment thing, important, but we didn't need to like thread the needle all the way to like, oh my God, you were paid like a shitty wage. Like somehow we were at grooming and then we got to like a wage theft. It's like, we could have stopped like here. We didn't need to go all the way through. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I just wanted to amend that statement. I apologize.
Switched to wage theft because he wanted to make Demon Mama look hypocritical with respect to Xanderhall. But in this entire report, he neglected to actually produce anything that concretely links Demon Mama to any of this. So the whole thing is just dismissible. And that's a problem because there's probably information or was information out there that actually links the two together. Or there was a more responsible and muted case that still asks the question, this is your channel. Like, how could you let this take place?
So in your mind...
But the thing is like that is Demon Mama's partner. So even if Demon Mama was somehow blind and deaf the entire time that Glooby was working for her. And it's been corroborated by a lot of people that they were often in voice chats. They were often talking. Demon Mama and Glooby actually met playing Overwatch together. So it like, I don't know if you guys have ever played like an online game before. You know, if someone that is on the microphone is like fucking 12 years old, you can hear it. You can literally hear it in their voice. They're called squeakers for a reason, okay? So if we want to pretend that Demon Mama was deaf, dumb, and blind the entire time that Glooby was working for her, that still does not entirely exonerate her because she was, one, present in these calls, and two, this is her fucking partner. Like, I'm sorry, if your long-term partner for most of your life is doing this shit in your Discord openly in front of you and in front of God and everybody, you can't just be like, oh, I had no idea. You obviously did. You obviously knew this dude was younger, at the very least, underage. And you very obviously knew that there was, like, weird shit going on because it's been corroborated that, like, Demon Mama would, like, be like, Fawn, stop, in regards to, like, the showing the dildo thing. Glooby states that they were all in a group chat, or at a voice call together. Fawn was showing the dildo collection or whatever, and Demon Mama was like, stop. Like, you're really going to pretend that this polycule, this online polycule that runs their like relationship through Discord as like a fucking business was acutely unaware of each other's actions and behavior inside of that like worker co-op polycule from fucking hell. You really are going to tell me that nobody knew except for Fawn? That's a fucking stretch. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if Demon Mama didn't know. She should have known because this is somebody that she, one, employed, and two, kept in close company. How can you guys be like tight as fuck with somebody that you hang out with online all the fucking time and you don't know that they're like 13 years old? Are you serious? That's quite a defense in my opinion. I mean, if I'm the Pope, then I guess that's possible, but fuck.
This all hinges on what did Demon Mama know and when did she know it as far as Glooby's age, as far as establishing, both the working relationship with a minor as well as the, the fucked up positions that Glooby was put into as a minor, right? That's the...
Also, somebody fact check this for me. I actually looked this up last night and I didn't believe it. Okay, so I was reading, somebody fact checked me on this. So it says, possessing child pornography is illegal in the United States under the Protect Act of 2003. Any obscene images depicting a minor is considered child pornography. The act was passed as a part to make the virtual child pornography illegal, even though it did not depict an actual child. Because Lolicon depicts an identifiable minor engaged in explicit situations, Lolly violates the federal law in the United States. You can be arrested and charged with a crime if you possess Lolicon in any form. Other countries have also enacted laws of Lolicon and Shotacon illegal. They criminalize Lolly's pedophilia or child pornography, blah, blah, blah. International laws, blah, 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 blah. So is this true? Is this true that in the United States, it's federally illegal? Is that true? Or is this website just like feeding me bullshit? Because I was looking that up last night. I was really interested. I was like, because I remember when the whole like Vosh like folder thing popped off, I remember reading that there are like select states where it's illegal. I thought it was only select states it was illegal to possess, but apparently it's federally illegal. Am I reading that right? Am I stupid? Somebody help me. Somebody check me. Somebody check me really quick. We're going to pause because I'm curious about this, because I was under the impression that it's only illegal in select states. It's not federally illegal. But what I just read, I read that the other day, and it said that it is federally illegal. Well, yeah, it probably is not prosecuted often, and it's probably something that's going to be tied to, like, consumption of other materials. Like, it's probably like I would imagine, like, you catch somebody who's, like, you know, they've got, like, the real shit or whatever, and then it turns out that they have like a shit ton of lolly as well. They probably like throw that on there as well. Or if you're somebody who's like mass producing and selling it, like I could understand that. It's kind of like how they're like, marijuana is federally illegal. They're not going to like grandma who has like one pot plant for her chronic arthritis, arresting her for like fucking trafficking charges or whatever. But if you're, you know, grandma who has 900 pot plants and you have an entire fucking large scale operation of selling marijuana, I'm sure they'll go after that grandma, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Well, not all.
Well, here's where it gets complicated.
Okay.
Because no, that's not my concern, but it has to be my concern in light of what Tyler's done with Glooby's testimony. Because Tyler has used Glooby's testimony and led Glooby's testimony to feed into his prior claims about White Forest being a cult, and I guess the channels within White Forest being a cult, and Demon Mama engaging in wage theft hypocritically while Xanderhall was doing so. And
I mean, is it not fair to point that out though? Like, yes, I agree, time and place, like maybe we should have talked about that in a different video. I don't disagree with that at all. But is it not fair to point out that she just like literally spit roasted fucking Xanderhall over a fucking open fire with a little apple in his mouth because he wasn't paying Cherry? But then it comes out that she's paying her like editor that's underage, mind you, and has chronic health conditions, like literal slave wages. Like, is it not fair? Is it not fair to point and laugh at the hypocrisy in the room with us? Like, I feel like that's fair. Like, obviously, yes, again, these should have been separate conversations. This could have been handled much more tactfully. I do not disagree with that criticism at all. But, like, come on. Like, it is very ironic. It is very ironic, and I think it's worth having a little tee-hee-hee girl time about, okay? Like, come on now. Come on now. That's kind of fucking funny.
The problem is that those claims need to be substantiated with hard proof. Otherwise, the whole thing in which this interview is embedded can simply be dismissed, and it has been dismissed.
Yeah.
A few large people have watched it so far, and they've been like, "Ooh, this looks really bad." And then when it got into the specific attacks on Demon Mama and the odd use of the docs for seemingly no reason, etc., like, there's like, oh, okay, but what is this? And then it just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah.
And
when you say that, you're talking about Destiny?
I'm talking about Destiny. I'm talking about Loner Box, Chud Logic to a certain extent. Like, I think like the interview by itself, if it had been careful, like for example, if he had asked like, hey, so if people, for example, raised some of these issues that you're talking about in Demon Mama's server, what was the response? How were they treated? You could probably get to a description that would then justify Tyler's commentary at the end. This looks kind of cult-like, and I think this merits further investigation. And that would be a really strong argument. This is what a good reporter would do. The problem is he's wrapped Glooby in to additional claims that feed into his video campaign, but which ultimately serve to actually insulate Demon Mama and all those other people from scrutiny. Because they can just dismiss this as like a crazy person. I don't think he's a Captain Ahab type. I think he's intoxicated by the growth he's been experiencing recently, and he wants to keep the ball rolling. I think he's also dealing with like an injury and is highly stressed. And I think he's not thinking through what he's doing. I want to be clear. Like,
this is more content brain.
Thank you for the Prime sub. Appreciate it.
Right? This is like, you know, especially with a newer, relatively newer creator.
Well, I want to be clear. Like, the reason why I got along with Tyler early on is because he wasn't that. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he could be really hot-headed, and he could roll off, and sometimes he'll go farther than maybe he would intend to if he was in a cooler place. But he had a really robust community that was really like concerned with things beyond just like clickbait content. He actually had like a conscientious approach to like sensitive issues when he was dealing with them. And I think over the last like little while, I think he's just kind of lost sight of that. And I would urge him to. Did Tyler just get banned from the thing? I would urge him to.
Oh my god, is he in there? Did I just completely? Yeah, there he is. Oh no, it was Stream Elements. Oh my god.
What
happened?
He's lying about Chud.
And then I'm gonna fast forward this just till Tyler comes on.
Logic is what.
Why is this? Okay. So let's get to where, I think it's actually a minute before Tyler comes on. Hang on, because
from this case almost like a stepping stone. Like he just didn't care about it anymore. He just wanted to. It was like Glooby came forward with. This has been like I've watched these. Like this has been across the board. The overarching problem here is that he wanted to make the content fast. He looped it in with content he'd already made. He wasn't thinking about the actual viability of this case, and he moved on from this case almost like a stepping stone. Like he just didn't care about it anymore. He just wanted to. It was like Glooby came forward with a testimony. He's like, "Oh, good, here's my chance." Threw out a thing in a couple days, like badly, and like now what? Like it's. This is not how you handle like someone's testimony of abuse, especially someone who was a minor at the time of abuse. Like this is exceedingly dangerous.
I think that we're kind of intuition pumping here. I don't like. You could say that like we bit off a little bit more than we could chew. We could say that I've already made like several criticisms of all of this. Like I think that I've been very clear.
Can't stand the truth.
Thank you for the step. I think that I've been very clear, like, with all of my criticisms, like, against Sunday and what have you. But, like, what I will say is, like, to say that it is dangerous to Glooby or whatever, like, Tyler is a mandatory reporter. Tyler reported it to the appropriate bodies. And if I remember correctly, like, a big sticking point for Sunday in all of the Xena and Poppy bullshit was, like, have you gone to the authorities? Have you gone to the authorities? Have you gone to the authorities? Have you gone to the... And it's like... Okay, so he did everything that he was supposed to do. He might have done the interview in, like, kind of a shitty way. He might have bit off more than that he could chew. And he might have, like, overextended his reach as far as the accusations go in maybe, like, a tasteless, like, you know, tone-deaf way. Like, I have plenty of criticisms for Tyler. However, again, I'm going to come back to this central criticism, is, like, Sunday just wants to endlessly criticize. He doesn't want to do anything except for, like, complain about it. It's like, okay, you have all of this apparently, like, coveted information because you were close to these people for so long. You apparently have the journalistic integrity that Tyler could only dream of. Why don't you do something about it then? Like, instead of just sitting there and being like, oh, wow, like, this video wasn't very good, and wow, this video... It's like, you are more than welcome to have your criticisms of whatever piece of media. That's completely fine. But when every single thing that somebody produces, you take umbrage with for this, that, and the other reason, and you say you can do so much better, it's like, okay, if this is something that's really important to you, then do better. And if the issue here is the legality and, you know, the criminal juxtaposition and blah, 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 it's like, okay, Tyler did what you would want him to do, and he reported it. What else is he supposed to do? Like, I think we just want to endlessly criticize everything. That's what it feels like.
Okay, so to be clear, he's please. In there and he wants to come on and talk to us. And what happened, I think, was that he said a no-no word that stream elements.
What was the word?
I don't know, Chud logic, and he's actually I don't see anything like it's words like, you know, Trump 2024 that it's actually looking for people just coming in here with Trump spam is the general. I don't know what the fuck he could have gotten banned by stream, or he didn't get banned. Sorry, his comment got deleted. All right, so he might think he's being moderated. I don't know if he knows that that's stream elements, that's auto mod, and I don't see what he said to get him auto mod. We just implemented this today. Let's see. You know what I'll do?
His mod just asked if I would be comfortable with him talking to me with you moderating. I don't even necessarily need you moderating, but I'm fine with that. I would like to get some water quickly.
Yeah, we could do that. So Tyler, I'm gonna throw my stream. I'm gonna throw my Discord invite.
Now we're gonna go for it.
Reckless.
Yeah. Because they talk at length about Tyler.
Westside Tyler has entered the Discord.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh, so I'm not gonna have time.
Oh, I'm fixing. So gotta get word is waiting. Real important. He comes. Was it the fifth and Starfield?
Okay,
Sunday and Tyler was not in my fortune cards. Yeah, not on my bingo cards either.
I was kind of hoping we were just gonna wrap this up, to be honest.
And this is also so annoying too. And Sunday was like, I was just hoping that we could wrap this up, to be honest. I just wanted to come on, give my side, talk about my recounting of the events, exonerate my image, shit on Tyler a little bit, and then be done. Do we really have to continue litigating this? It's like, well, yeah, you're like talking about him publicly. Like, of course he wants to come on and like talk shit with you. Like, yes. Yeah. Like, oh, I really thought that I would just be able to come on and, you know, talk shit or whatever. It's like, ugh. Come on now. You know better. You know that's not how that works.
I wanted to de-escalate this. I'm kind of hoping we still can, but like...
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Look, there's things I can ignore, right? Like, one of the things like I can't ignore is people claiming I'm carrying water or running cover for people who are abetting kids being abused. Like, that's kind of beyond the pale. There's limits, you know? Like, all...
And again, I feel like, truthfully, and this could be me, and you guys can disagree with me until the cows come home. That's completely fine. I think that I would be spilling the beans if for whatever reason I was even remotely tangentially involved in something like this and somebody was like, Malcolm, it's really weird, you run a lot of cover for this person, I would be like, oh yeah, bitch, let's fucking go. I will go through literally every single piece of messages, content, anything that you want to exonerate that I'm running around with the bad apples. And it seems like the only thing that President Sunday did was, read the messages between him and Tyler, while one, admitting that Tyler has said openly, don't send me anything juicy in DMs, I will leak it. And then two, denying the possibility that all of this could have been done over DMs, or over voice chat, which is what Tyler claims, is that, yes, you were sweeping for them really hard in voice chats, when Sunday knows he can't spill the beans in a DM because Tyler will leak it, and then he laughs at the idea that it could have been done over a voice chat. It's like, I'm telling you, when you listen, I don't know about anybody else that's like obviously know the laws of the state that you're in because every state has different laws. If you're in a fucking like private conversation with somebody like this, like trying to squash it or whatever, just fucking record it, dude. All these people are fucking snakes. Like you couldn't pay me to be in a fucking conversation with President Sunday and not fucking record it. Like no shot. I would be like, I'm recording this conversation. If you say you don't want to record it, I'm out. Like this will be recorded because everybody is so like backstabby and like weaselly and double-sided. It's like super weird. It's like I should be able to, have a chat with the boys without being like, can you go ahead and sign the disclosure that I just sent to you in DMs to let you know that I'm recording this conversation because I don't trust you? That's weird to me because like it would make sense to me that if he was going to do all of his sweeping, he would do it in DMs because Tyler literally said, if you got juicy drama, I will spill it if you DM it to me. But maybe I'm the crazy one here. I don't know. Have you considered that it's President Sunday's birthday? No, well, it's his birthday. I should shut the fuck up then. My bad. Sorry, guys. Happy birthday.
I was going to let all this go at this point.
He was totally going to let it go. Totally. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm giving him his roles. Panel member, there you go. All right, Tyler, you should have everything that you need. I don't know if you have two. Yo, wait a minute.
I thought it was having me put it in as a .ggg website or whatever the fuck it's actually.
Oh, I see.
I accidentally created a second fake account.
Interesting.
All right. Yeah. Well, you're here now. Chat, can we hear Tyler? Okay.
Could I open with a question? But I'd like to ask a question if you don't mind.
I don't really give a fuck.
Also, at the beginning of this, President Sunday and No Comment Chick spent probably like 5 minutes adjusting Sunday's audio so that she wasn't prioritized over him and you could actually hear him talk. But we don't do that for Tyler. So this whole time, poor Tyler is screaming at the top of his lungs and no one can fucking hear him because President Sunday is just going to say his name over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until he stops talking. And you can't hear anything other than President Sunday going, Tyler, 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 Tyler. And that's my favorite President Sunday tactic, is where he just says whoever's name it is over and over and over and over and over again to the point where you can't hear anything that they're saying. And then when they finally stop talking, he's like, okay, so anyway, a question. And he's like, he's so infuriating to listen to in conversations.
That's okay,
but
I'd like to ask a question.
You are literally unqualified to be talking about journalism. You're unqualified to be talking about ethicality and reporting.
But I got a question for you nonetheless.
Somebody else.
But nonetheless, Tyler. I do have a question for you.
Tyler.
I would really like to ask a question.
Tyler.
But I haven't asked a question yet, actually.
Tyler.
And you scared the fucking source away, didn't you?
What source?
Because you are a fucking...
I'm sorry, I'm not a reporter.
Oh, so he's referring to the other mod that wanted to talk to President Sunday, and President Sunday was being hella aggro about the shit with Tyler, and then he was like, you're kind of making me feel unsafe, and then President Sunday just kicked him out of the fucking call. So to be fair, this is a fair criticism on the part of Tyler. President Sunday did scare somebody who was there to roll on, Demon Mom in the community. He did scare that bitch away. He did do that. That's true.
Tyler, as you just said, I wasn't speaking to a source.
So then why
I have a question for you.
Then why are you talking about any of this?
I have the only source.
Here, the second that I fucking called one of your friends into question? Is that what happened?
Brother, breathe.
We're not brothers. I'm breathing.
Breathe. We are all brothers in Christ. Breathe.
You're the fucking well-grounded one here.
Find your peace.
You freaked out on your show. Lost your mind.
I'm sure everybody is listening to this and thinking I'm freaking out.
Yeah. Shut up. You're the one that's been going behind my back, freaking the fuck out, talking to my mods and shit.
What?
Trying to fucking offer my mods to jump across.
What?
So this is actually really interesting. The gift of hindsight is beautiful, you guys. So, first of all, President Sunday had messaged Tyler's mods to be like, hey, Tyler's being a little fucking crazy right now, don't you think? I like you guys. You guys are cool. Tyler right now isn't being so cool. If you wanted, you can come and hang out with me. Hee hee hee. Wink wink. Nudge nudge. And then when Tyler brings it up, President Sunday does the, what? He hits him with the, what? What are you, what? And then later he's like, oh yeah, actually I did message your mods. Fuck you. Like, yeah, again, you can't write it, you guys. It's truly art to behold. It's truly art to behold. Again, I don't have a dog in this race, or a horse in this race if I want to be more poetic in my puns. But like, I have to be totally honest with you. One, I don't think President Sunday had any interest in de-escalating any of this. Two, I think that President Sunday is like so slimy. Like in all of this, he's been so, he's like, you message my mods, dude. That's a bitch move. And he's like, what? What? Me? What? It's just so funny. It's so funny.
What are you
I know
about?
that you have been talking.
What are you talking about?
That's because I invited you to the call, Tyler. There was no
What are you talking about?
transparency.
What are you talking about?
What?
You didn't send it directly to me. You didn't say, Tyler, hey, I want to talk to your mods. You said, I want to put out a call to all mods, and I didn't want to list
In a public server.
Tyler out of my.
Yeah, that's
I've already
wonderful.
kept Tyler out
That's
of my
great.
Discord.
Me?
That's great. Are you finished?
Hey,
I've
here's
got
the
a
real
question
question. Here's
for
the real question. 2 months. 2 months.
Are you just going to like
un?
unspool for the next 3 hours, or am I going to be able to get a word in here?
I'm talking to you the way that you deserve to be talked to, man.
Yeah, but you don't deserve to be spoken to at all. So, Tyler, moderator, may I ask a question?
Moderator, man.
Oh my god, a bitch made. This is the worst thing ever. Like, okay, first of all, no comment check. Love you, queen. Thank you for not cucking this beautiful content that we have been blessed with. But the other thing is like, if like President Sunday, literally, Tyler came in and he was like, Tyler. And then Tyler talks for like 2 seconds and he's like, moderator. Like, this is so funny. This is so funny to me. I am cackling on the inside. Like, it's so funny. Like, we literally just refuse to let Tyler speak it. Moderator, I'm not being allowed to ask my question. Like, okay, bro. Okay. And he doesn't have his camera on, but I'm imagining he's doing like the, moderator, it's my turn for a question. Like, that's, ooh, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it coming through the monitor, and I love it. See, guys, we can be serious and goofy. Like, we just had a very serious, long thought out critique of my issues with the journalistic integrity of not only President Sunday, but also Westside Tyler. And we analyzed both sides, we synopsized them fairly, we discussed at length my personal issues, my grievances, and what I wish that we could have done better in the future, and we even, you guys, had a lovely compliment sandwich. And now we can just make fun of the two bad words fighting meme. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? That's what I love about us, you guys. That's what I love about us, you guys. We can have fun, and we can be bitches, and we can be serious, and we can be haters, and we can be charitable. I love that about us, you guys. I love that about us. We're so great.
Yes. Let me moderate for you. Okay, so yeah, let's try to make this conversation as much as we can. I know there's a lot of heat coming here, a lot of emotions.
It's frankly because
He's been
Tyler's
lying
afraid.
about me for fucking days,
it's frankly because he's
Lying
terrified
about
if
me
I
for
ask him a
days.
question, he can't answer it.
Lying
That's
about me
why.
for days. Go ahead.
He's terrified. He's terrified.
He's so terrified that he can't talk because I'm screaming so loud over him the whole time.
You have been unwilling to address me directly on stream for days. You're terrified.
No, I haven't.
The behavior you're engaging right now, this is the behavior.
I don't even think he's streamed in the last couple of days, has he?
You are a coward, sir.
No, I'm not.
Listen, now I have...
Madam, thou art un coward. Like, I just am so, my butthole is puckering. Like, good sir, you indeed are a yellow-bellied coward. Okay, bro.
Literally, first and foremost, I'm a fucking combat veteran. Who am I afraid of? I'm afraid of Fraser.
Mentally down.
Fraser.
Here we go. Oh, now we gotta go. Now we gotta go to the well poisoning. Look, hey, it's
No, I
fucking
do have a
he's got
question
nothing
for
to
you,
say.
Tyler.
Oh,
No, I do, on the
understand.
subject of well
Be
poisoning.
nice to Tyler.
On the
He's on
subject,
morphine today. Who knows how long?
Yeah, he's literally like, be nice to Tyler, guys. He's literally neurodivergent and a minor. He's so fucking stupid, guys. Make sure to be nice to him because he's so fucking dumb that he can't even think, and he's high as fucking morphine right now. Everybody be nice. Good one.
You've exhausted that. That is over now, yes.
No,
I do have a question for you, Tyler.
I need to understand that Tyler, he has a little bit of who knows what he's saying.
Your voice isn't deep enough for that, my friend. So here's the question
I don't spend all the time fucking drinking, do I?
Well, maybe you should begin. You'll sound like a man. Here's the question for you.
Sober.
Congratulations.
Maybe you should quit, and then you can start acting like an adult.
No, I'm not a drunk. I don't drink very much. Here's a question for you.
That's what they all say, isn't it?
It is. I can quit anytime. Listen.
That's also what they all say.
Here's my question. Yeah, that's the joke. Here's my question for you, Tyler. You say, and I quote, I have had several conversations with you. This is what you posted in your server.
Yeah.
I have had several conversations with you where you ran cover for these individuals, meaning Demon Mama, Fawn, et al., downplayed even the possibility of abuse, all the while suggesting the more severe issues likely didn't extend as far as I suspected. Tyler, I went through all of my DMs specifically to show.
Yeah, does it say DMs, you dumb motherfucker?
Well, then where did we have this conversation? No. This is good. Where did we? It does not. So where did we have these conversations?
You dumb fuck.
We called each other, I think, once or twice. The first was to talk about. Tyler, what are you referring to?
Tyler,
what are you referring about?
Like, this is just so, like, again, hindsight is a gift, okay? Because President Sunday said that one of the things that he found off-putting about Tyler is that Tyler literally said, if you send me Gossip Girl information in DMs and it becomes relevant, I will Gossip Girl leak it. And now President Sunday is like, what do you mean? I looked in all of my DMs, when he was very acutely aware that he couldn't do any of this in DMs because Tyler would leak it. So obviously it stands to reason that if any of this did occur, it occurred in a voice chat. And because obviously nobody was recording the voice chat, which apparently, mistake, guys, apparently you have to record conversations, like record me right now, apparently, Jesus Christ. Because it wasn't recorded, we now have plausible deniability to say like, oh, well, I never did blah, blah, blah. Even though I think it stands to reason that based on President Sunday's history with the individuals mentioned, that it's fair to assume that he might have been sweeping a little bit harder than he should have in this instance. Of course, I have no proof of that, and the whole point of this is that we don't have proof of that, because if it did happen, it happened on a voice call. I believe that it probably did happen, personally, and that's my opinion. I am doing intuition pumping. I am completely aware of that. That is my opinion. That is my speculation. That is my, perspective, or whatever the fuck. However, like, hindsight is 20/20, and it's beautiful because President Sunday literally started off this by bitching that Tyler was like gossip girly in DMs, and so he never sent anything questionable over DMs. Of course, then, this conversation where apparently you were sweeping hella fucking hard for these guys was on a voice call. So, okay.
You said several conversations, Tyler. Where were these several conversations?
Every time I talk to you, fucking, you're trying to run cover for Demon.
But clearly not. But clearly not, Tyler. But clearly not, Tyler. Because at no point do you have any textual evidence that I did so. In fact, I've been encouraging.
Also, DJB says Tyler does not stream on the weekends, so he's not like hiding from him. He just wasn't streaming. Like, God forbid a girl has a hobby.
I was encouraging you in DMs the entire time. Tyler, Kermit, chill. Miss Piggy's not coming back. Listen, Tyler.
Okay, I like how he's like, Kermit, chill, Miss Piggy isn't coming back. And he's making fun of President Sunday's voice. Like, President Sunday is very flat, and President Sunday is very hard to read. But if you spend enough time consuming President Sunday content, you can pick up on little things, little behaviors. Tom is very similar. Tom is very flat. Tom is not very reactive. He's very monotone, and he's very difficult to read because you can never... I don't think I've ever seen Tom, like, laugh. It's very weird. President Sunday, similarly, is very difficult to read. But, again, if you spend enough time consuming President Sunday content, you can learn to pick up on these very subtle cues on where he's like actually getting fucking mad and actually fucking bothered. And I would confidently say that this is one of those instances because one, his insults aren't landing. Okay. When President Sunday is with somebody that he knows that he can outclass, his insults fire. These insults, dog shit. He's off his game. Second of all, when he did his original stream, like about Tyler, where he was watching the video and he was actually like genuinely pissed off, you could tell, he has a different voice. He has like a completely different voice. I have no idea how to explain it because I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. There was a point where he was so mad that he like talked in a completely different voice. It's kind of like if somebody's faking an accent and they get like really pissed off and they drop the accent. That like you can tell that this is something that actually really fucking bothers him and gets under his skin because he's like his insults are usually fire, dude. He's usually hilarious. That was like the lamest fucking thing I've heard him say, and I've heard him say a lot of lame things, okay? Like, I can tell that this is just like eating him on the inside, okay? And it's the voice thing. Like, when people get like really fucking upset, and I do it too, everybody does it. When you get really upset, your voice will change. Like, you lose control. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could actually see it in real time. So like I said, he's hard to read, but if you pay close enough attention, you can see that this is something that actually really fucking bothers him.
Tyler.
Baby, come back. What's up?
Are you actually on like morphine right now? Like, what's the deal?
Dude, stop trying to do the fucking.
I'm sorry. Listen, the reason why I'm asking Tyler, the reason why I'm
This is your leftist, dog. This is your leftist who's like, are you mentally disabled? Are you on crack right now? It's like, dude, he literally has chronic back pain. Like, what the fuck? Like, just because he got like a morphine injection does not mean that he's like highest hits right now. And even if he was highest hits, how embarrassing that he's highest hits and he's like wiping the floor with you because you won't even let him speak because you're just shrieking over him. Like every time he tries to talk. Like how incredible.
The reason why I'm asking.
He literally asked, are you on morphine? And then he goes, it's like, let me answer this question. And he's like, and it's like anytime you ask a question and then you start to answer the question, he gets mad and just like starts freaking the fuck out. And then he's like, you never answered my question. It's like, I actually did, bitch. I was literally talking the whole fucking time, but you wouldn't know because you can't hear me over the sound of your own jaw flapping. Oh, good heavens.
Reason why I am asking.
I know why you're asking it. The reason that you're asking.
The reason why I'm asking is because you are coming across as severely unhinged and mentally ill.
No, I'm not. I'm fucking.
And is this because of yes, you are?
You are very severely mentally unwell and deranged because you disagree with me. Fucking base, President Sunday. Let's go. Do you know what disagreeing with me is? A sign of a terminal mental illness. He's so based, guys.
Yeah, if you do, Tyler. Tyler, you do. But the reason why you do this is because you actually can't keep up mentally. You can't keep up mentally with the conversation, and so your strategy is to fill space with noise in the hopes that people who are listening will think that because you exude whatever it is that you think this is, that therefore you are actually following the conversation, but you're not. Tyler, you lied about me. You flat out lied. Mr. Journalist, you flat out lied. This is embarrassing for you, Tyler.
Okay, so how many times is he gonna say you lied before he lets Tyler answer? Like, you lied, and then also, by the way, you lied. Hey, did you know that you lied? You lied, and then Tyler's gonna be like, I didn't lie, I did, and then President Sunday is gonna go, you lied. That's gonna be like, this is going to be the pattern. Okay, I'm telling you right now, that's what's gonna happen. And disclosure, I pre-watched a little bit of this. Okay, just a little bit. But I want to be very clear and honest with everybody in the room. I listened to this on 2x speed, so you can go ahead and do the calculus in your head about how much of this I actually absorbed trying to listen to this on 2x speed. Okay, so it's still a fresh set of eyes because I did not absorb much. Let me be totally honest with you. But I can tell you right now, this is going to be the standard script of every single President Sunday debate ever where he's actually triggered. He's just like gonna steamroll. He's gonna ask a question, they're gonna start to answer, and then he's gonna yell, and then he's gonna bitch that he didn't get his question answered. I'm 100% confident that's gonna be here.
No, I'm
Tyler, this is embarrassing for you. This is deeply embarrassing for you.
Literally not.
You are coming across. Yeah. You are coming across.
You are coming across. That
sentence, but it's giving me so much time to think of one. Give me a sec.
You're coming across. You're coming across.
Who has been caught out by his mother for being hooky from school.
Instead of trying to have
you're getting called out like a kid who is playing hooky from school. Like, you can tell that he's pissed because, like, what is this insult? You can tell he's pissed because we're not cooking. When President Sunday is on his game and he's level-headed, my boy can cook, okay? This is not it. This is fucking lame, okay? That's how you can tell that he's bothered.
You've been caught up by your mother for being hooky from school. You then start a litany of every possible grievance you have, many of which are made up because you were a child.
That's what they do. Anyone's made up.
You said
Tyler's a child, but President Sunday's talking to him. President Sunday, Tyler's a child, they're talking. No, I'm just kidding. That was a bit. That was all in good spirit and all good humor. Okay, that was a bit, just for clarity.
I defended Demon Mama and told you that
/ sarcasm.
The abuse did not extend as far as you suspected, and I downplayed the possibility of abuse. I did. Prove it. Prove it, Tyler. Prove it. Show me. Right here. We're live. We got an audience. Show me.
You knew about it for fucking multiple months, and then you didn't look into it. And the second I did and put a story out, you're like, oh well, this isn't. I don't know about this. Maybe he should write all this. He should delete this.
What are you talking about? I didn't know this. I didn't know this Fawn person was talking to. I didn't know this Fawn person was involved in the channel.
Exactly the fucking same. I need to take.
He didn't know that this Fawn person was involved in the channel, even though Fawn has been on Demon Mama's stream before, and they've been like close friends for quite a long time. And when I say close friend, I mean like the internet capacity. I'm not saying that they're like going over for like potlucks and shit like that every weekend, you know. But like they're friends. They were friends in this space. So I would find it incredibly curious that he has like no idea who fucking Fawn is. That seems like a stretch. He's just kind of like saying shit. Like, again, we can feel the tension. We can feel the pressure. We can tell that he's off of his game. You can tell that he's actually exceedingly bothered right now, which is hilarious to me.
Excuse me? No, Tyler.
Your
Tyler.
pocket, sending you
Tyler.
information while you're interviewing a victim.
Tyler.
Tyler, you made a specific claim. You claimed that I defended these people, ran cover for them. You said that I ran cover for them in several conversations.
So just to be clear, if Tyler had evidence of this, we would never get to see it because President Sunday can't shut the fuck up for more than like 10 seconds. So just pretend that, you know, Tyler did have this. Let's just pretend for a second. And if it was over a voice call, I imagine he doesn't. But let's just pretend for a second. We would never get to know because he hasn't been able to answer the fucking question.
You said that I ran cover for them in several conversations.
Yeah, none of which I never
you said that. Okay, so well, have we had several voice conversations in which this took place? Have we had several voice conversations in which this took place?
More than one is several. A couple? Would you rather say?
Actually, more than one would be two, but we actually have not had one in which I.
Several is just like more than. Several means like two, right? Several is like more than. An indefinite number, more than two, and fewer than many. Again, we're playing like 5D autism chess. Like, listen, if you can get him on the smaller points, that's like a Chad move, okay? I would agree with that. If you can get him on like some pedantic like worm shit, like whatever, okay, fine. You got your little worm dunk. But like, several means more than two, less than a few. Like, usually when people say several, they mean like two-ish. Again, we're very, very like hyper specific when it comes to the phraseology here, because these are the small battles that we can win on, because we know we cannot win the war.
Well, would you rather
actually, more than one would be two, but we actually have not had one in which I defended them.
Oh, yeah, you have actually, not necessarily.
No, we have not.
Yeah, we had the one at the beginning.
No, we have not. The last conversation we had.
There's Tyler trying to answer.
You released your hit piece, and you were telling me, "I'm sorry you went down this way," and I said, "Thank you."
So Chad is asking me to jump in here, right? Because we can't hear you when we both talk at the same time. So Sunday, you seem to have a line of questioning. Would you like to ask that?
No comment chick is so cucked for Sunday. No comment chick. All President Sunday has been doing is talking. Let anybody else talk. Primarily Tyler. Fuck.
Question, and then we'll have Tyler respond. Is that okay with everybody?
I already answered it.
Tyler made the claim that we have had several conversations in which I ran cover for Demon Mama, Doe, and Fawn, in which I downplayed even the possibility of abuse, all the while suggesting the more severe issues likely didn't extend as far as he suspected. Yeah. I have done no such thing, and I challenge him to produce any evidence to the contrary.
He's trying to he's literally, you just say it's hearsay, dumb fuck. Just say it's hearsay and you don't care.
Excuse me? That's not hearsay, it's a lie. We have not had that interaction.
No, hearsay is when you can't definitively prove if something is true or not, right? Like, I would say, like, oh, I overheard Barbie and Jennifer talking shit in a voice call, but I wasn't recording it, so it's hearsay. Like, I overheard it, but, like, obviously I wasn't recording the call, so, like, that's what I heard. Like, you can believe me or not. Like, what? Again, for the fucking semantic bibble babble.
Literally hearsay. You can't prove it's a lie. Your fucking own actions prove literally.
I'm sorry, just to be clear, your defense as an self-avowed journalist is you can't prove what I said was a lie. Are you a fucking child?
Literally, yes, literally. What the fuck are you talking about?
Why would you lie about this? I have the DMs that I can show.
You're the one that's lying about it. You're the one that covers for them. You had these.
And then he loops, and then again we have another example of how the Sunday is having clouded judgment. Okay, because President Sunday loops when he's struggling as well. Because we have already established that Tyler said that these happened in a voice call. They did not happen over DMs. But now we're circling back to show me the DMs where I said them. It's like, okay, well, that has already been addressed. We have already made it explicitly clear that Tyler says he doesn't have DMs. He said that they happened or they took place in a voice call. You must pay attention to these things because he is in fact difficult to read. Again, if you pay close enough attention, you can see them.
We didn't cover for them, Tyler.
There are cathedrals everywhere for those who have eyes to see.
Have I covered for them? Show me. Show me where I covered for them, Tyler. Oh, conveniently. Hey, look, I got an idea. We had a voice call. I can just pretend he covered for them in the voice call. Yeah, nobody can verify a voice call.
The guy that dumps DMs. Yes, Sunday's a snake. Record your conversations with DM. There you go. Every time you have a conversation with Sunday, record your conversations. He's a fucking snake. Okay,
be my guest, because I've never covered for these people. Ever.
Yeah, I mean,
if I was covering for them, excuse me.
I'm surprised you did it, fucking
Tyler, you're a liar and you're stupid.
No,
you're a liar because you're stupid.
No,
you're a liar because you're stupid. What is? Are you ugly because you're fat, or are you fat because you're ugly? No, it's in Mean Girls where she's like, What did she say? Oh my fucking god. No, I killed the bit. Oh my god. I killed the bit. What is that bit from Mean Girls? I don't hate you because you're fat. You're fat because I hate you. You know what I'm talking about? God, dude, I just biffed that so hard. I have to edit that out when I segment this and upload it. Wow. Wow. Sad air horn for that one, guys. That one sucked. Wow, I can do better than that. Fuck. That was so defeating. God, I fucked up so bad. Wow, that's so embarrassing. I don't know how to get past this. I'm sorry I let everyone down. I biffed it. That was a good bit, and I fucked it up. God.
Very stupid.
Okay, let's not know you here. Let's not.
Tyler,
Okay, hold on.
Actually, all for the sake. Excuse me, one moment. Tyler, you actually endangered.
And then the moderator, like, so earlier he was like, moderator, please, I must ask my question or else spontaneous moderator, please. And now No Comment Chick is like, hey guys, can you like chill? And he's like, stop. You have been stopped. That's an off-topic question. Like, the moderator suddenly is not important at all to the conversation when we don't need our ego placated. Curious.
Injured your source's case,
No,
so you could roll the content wagon a little further to get some more stuff on Bosch and wait for us. You're a clown. You're a clown because you lied about me, Tyler. I take lies rather seriously. You don't because they are the padding for your incompetence.
You don't have anything.
You're a liar. I have everything.
You have literally nothing.
I have
literally nothing.
Everything.
Except for history.
You were on here screaming like a spastic.
Like, okay, so here he calls Tyler spastic, which, again, the dude has a TBI. Like, can you chill for like 5 fucking seconds? Like, imagine you're debating somebody who has breast cancer and you're like, listen here, one tit wonder. Like, come on now. Come on. Like, really? We're really gonna do that? Especially over like this. We're gonna go this nuclear over this. Like, I can imagine if, you know, somebody who has breast cancer like makes fun of like, I don't know, like your dead mom or something. It's like, okay, well maybe we can step on the gas a little bit. But really, for this? Really, we're gonna crank up the heat that high for this? Truthfully, that's again how you can tell that he's fucking pissed off. It's just, oh man, this was such a treat. This is such a treat. I'm having such a good time. Yeah, this is just like insufferable to listen to. Like, I think part of the problem is, again, like, we have to let Tyler talk just like a little bit. Like, I know we don't want to, but it's really insufferable to listen to Sunday just like yell over somebody for an extended period of time. It takes a lot of psychic damage. And it makes it hard for me to be amicable to President Sunday because I agree with him on a lot of his criticisms, but he's just so fucking insufferable in conversations. It makes it really hard for me to want to be like, that's a good point. When like, oh, all we're doing is fucking screaming. Makes it really hard. You know, like I want to be kind, you guys. I want to be kind, but he's making it very hard.
Because you have nothing, not even your dignity anymore. You embarrassing twat.
No, I didn't. You are just fucking ass mad that you're fucking wrong.
I'm not mad at all. I'm disgusted.
You are fucking ass mad as shit.
I'm not mad at all. I am disgusted.
Mad.
I invited your mods into a chat because you can ask them.
And remember, now he's like, oh yeah, I was talking to your mods. Remember when Tyler told him you were being a snake fuck and you were going behind my back trying to talk to all of my fucking mods? President Sunday hit him with the, what? What are you talking about? What?
Directly.
Do you see the pattern? Do you see it?
I invited your mods into a chat because I didn't want to escalate this, and you are a nutball. You are insane.
Literally,
you are a
acting the way
broken man. You need to seek therapy and you need to get off the internet because you are going to destroy yourself.
No, I'm not. I'm fine. I'm moisturized. I'm hanging out. The only reason I'm
yeah, you sound it. You sound fine, Tyler. You sound really fine.
I mean, okay, like, this is, again, just me, you know, I'm open to constructive criticism for some time. I would say that the person who is quote-unquote more fine is not the person who is, like, gasping for breath in between screaming over the person that they're talking to. Like, Tyler hasn't been able to finish, like, a single sentence this entire conversation. I would say that Tyler is significantly, quote-unquote, more fine than President Sunday. President Sunday literally has to catch his breath in between shouting over him. He hasn't finished like a single sentence. I wouldn't consider President Sunday to be the calm and or like chill one in this conversation, but
I fucking posted 2 comments.
Yeah.
And you're fucking
Yeah.
name searching for me.
You are not a well man.
Can confirm President Sunday does go into other people's chats and then fucking name search himself. Like, that is the behavior of an unwell person. Let's just be for real.
You are not a well man. You are not cut out for this, my dude.
Up for yourself, where you are not cut out for this. Listen, everybody. By the way, this is a guy whose fucking community will start throwing him gifted subs the second he starts casting aspersions on a victim of child sexual abuse.
Beg your pardon?
This is a guy.
What aspersions have I cast on a victim? What are you talking about?
The literal. You're literally saying his fucking story isn't good enough.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Then,
no, I didn't.
What's the problem with it?
The story is not corroborated by additional screenshots and additional claims.
It's fine. What do you
mean? We have no
claim?
screenshots corroborating.
Excuse me. Shut up. Say the claim.
Shut up. Say the claim.
Say the claim. Shut up. Say the claim. Stop. You got to catch up. I'm faster than you. All right.
You're really not, Tyler.
I am. That's why you have to keep repeating everything.
You're really not.
I really am.
Yeah.
That's why you made. That's why every time you actually try to think, I can shut your entire brain down.
You made specific claims that Demon Mama in particular did things. We did not have corroboration for the testimony. The problem with publishing the testimony with those claims attached is that now, in advance of doing any research, she is now capable of hiding those claims.
Name the thing. Name the thing.
I did name the thing.
What?
Were you not listening? Were you too busy yapping?
Specific fucking claim, dipshit.
You led your interviewee with references to cultishness and with wage theft. They did not bring up these terms themselves.
Yeah,
these are terms that you had already entrenched. No, they didn't.
They did.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
no, they didn't. No, they didn't. You introduced. I will go over this tomorrow, and I will laugh at you. You introduced the terms wage theft and cult into the conversation. You, well, me for one. You introduced. You introduced. You introduced.
You introduced. You introduced. You introduced. You introduced. You introduced.
Is that right on your heart that you failed not to wear that?
You introduced.
Fucking laughing stock for not.
You introduced. You introduced.
You introduced into a interview with someone who came to you in trust. Yes, you did.
I did it.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Okay, this is interesting to me, okay? Because this is boring as fuck. But this is interesting, okay? If I am interviewing someone, or we don't even have to say that I'm interviewing someone. Let's say that somebody comes to me and they want to share an experience of what happened to them, okay? Let's say that I have a friend. My friend went out on a date, went home with a guy that she wanted a date with, and as soon as she got to his apartment, she had one drink, she blacked out, she woke up, she felt kind of weird, went home, and hasn't talked to the guy since, and is kind of like freaked out or whatever, and it was like, what happened? If I like kind of hear this behavior and I characterize it as like, oh dude, it sounds like you were date raped, did I just coerce her into coming to that like understanding of what happened to her? And I am honestly open to feedback right now, because I don't think that just like saying like, oh, that's what this sounds like to me. I don't necessarily know if that is like leading someone to a conclusion. Like, it absolutely can in certain circumstances. I don't disagree with that. But in this case specifically, when fucking, God, what's his name? Glooby, whatever the fuck that guy's name is. When Glooby came to Tyler and said, I worked for Demon Mama. I worked for Demon Mama for this amount of time. I did this much work, and this is how much I got paid. And there were months where, you know, I had to ask her for help with food because I wasn't making any money. I was making like maybe $2 to upload a video, like $2 to do the thumbnail and the art for it and all that other stuff. And Tyler goes, oh, damn, that kind of sounds like wage theft. Is that Tyler, like, truthfully, and I could be way off here, okay? Is that Tyler, like, literally leading this person to that conclusion? Or like, because if somebody is describing something to me and I can accurately describe it with a phrase, is that really me like loading that answer? Because I don't know. Because if somebody described that to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, dude, that person's like ripping you off. Like, that person's like, I wouldn't use the words wage theft because I'm not gay, but like, you know what I mean? I don't know if just saying like, oh, that sounds like da-da-da, I don't know if that's like loading it. Like, hold me accountable. Tyler did ask leading questions. It doesn't change the testimony that much, but it's a basic mistake from a non-journalist to make. Well, Tyler has a degree in journalism. Tyler is like a freelance journalist. So, I mean, no, that's not coercion. Okay. Asking leading questions is fine. It could be suggestive, but I guess not really. This isn't a courtroom. Who's going to object? It differs when it's a random interview. It depends on the context. You, as a friend, do actually want your friend to acknowledge the worst thing that happened. A journalist would first prioritize the unaided account. It's in a slightly gray area, more of an issue in question. It's just bringing it up. It strongly depends on the context. I think Tyler just said an opinion after the fact, maybe gaslighting at most. wonder how many of these chuckleheads have actually. Well, Tyler has Tyler has a background in it because like okay, maybe the rape example was like a bad example. Maybe I shouldn't have used that example. Sorry. I guess I could just keep it 1-to-1. If somebody comes to me and they say, "Who's somebody that I hate, you guys? Who's somebody that I really hate?" Oh, okay. Somebody comes to me and they're like, "Malcolm, I used to work for Xander Hall, and Xander Hall was like ripping me the fuck off. Like I was making him, like 101 thumbnails once a week, and he only paid me like 50 cents a thumbnail. And I just really want to talk to somebody about this. I would like to, like have it public. So if you would interview me, that'd be really cool." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. How much was he paying you per thumbnail?" And they go, "He was paying me 50 cents per thumbnail, and I made like 100 of them in a month." I'd go, again, I wouldn't say wage theft because that's gay. But if I was like, "Dude, that sounds like he was just like," I could just say, "Dude, that sounds like he was ripping you off." If that person then goes on to describe like Xander Hall ripped me off, is that really me like intuition pumping that just because I give a name to it, even if they're describing the exact same thing? Like if somebody has something happen to them and they describe it like fully in this way, and then I use a word to label this thing, am I actually like the bad person in that interaction because I gave this person that word? Like, I don't know. I don't think so. And especially if something is like fucking blasé as like a fucking YouTube interview. Like, yes, this is serious content. Yes, somebody was reported to the authorities. Yes. I don't disagree any of that. Like, is that really like just labeling what is being described to you? Is that leading? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, don't forget to like the stream base. Theo, where am I mouthing? Introducing terms to describe things wouldn't be probing per se. Because that's how I see this as, is that Glooby described like a set of behaviors and Tyler goes like, "Oh, it sounds like that's wage theft." And then if that person then uses that descriptor that I gave them, I don't think that I'm like loading that. I think I'm just using a word like, I don't know, like if somebody who doesn't speak English is like, "That guy," and they're like, like they have where's a pen? It looks weird when I don't have a pen. Pretend this is a pen. And they're like, "That guy, and then, and I go, "Murder." And then that person who doesn't speak English goes, "Murder." Like, am I really loading that? Because, like, it sounds like he was just using a descriptor. Like, he described this thing. Tyler says, "Oh, that sounds like da-da-da." And then he was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess it is da-da-da." And then he used that word. That doesn't sound leading to me. Like, if I describe something to somebody who doesn't know what it is and that they use that word, am I really loading it? I don't know. I don't know. One should ask minors to demonstrate CSA, not ask leading questions. Leading questions may lead to false convictions. Kids want to please adults. Glooby is an adult now. So Glooby is an adult now. This is all from before when Glooby was a minor. And to my recollection, and I could be wrong, it didn't sound like Tyler asked leading questions in regard to that. The leading questions that President Sunday is mad about is about the cult allegations and then the wage theft. Those are like the two things that he's really hung up on. Is the wage theft and the cult thing. Those are like the two things that he's really fixated on. It's not the CSA, it's not the exploitation, it's not the fucking furry porn, it's none of that. It's quite literally just the exploitation bit. It's the exploitation bit and what's the other thing I just fucking said to you guys? The exploitation thing and the wage theft thing. It was those two things. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, there we go. What's good, Queen?
Yeah, this is in no way like inappropriate. If a victim of something came to me and said, "Yeah, I went through this thing, this person forced this on me, then they put a gun to me and they forced me to drive around and take them to banks so they could rob my accounts or take money from my accounts," I'd say, "Oh my God, that sounds like you were kidnapped and falsely imprisoned. Holy shit, that's bad." That isn't coercion or anything else. That's giving them a word with which they may not have the knowledge to be utilizing. If you're talking about leading someone to something that they didn't really think, then you'd be doing something along the lines of, "Well, Malcolm, didn't you feel kind of gross whenever you offered to make those free, those free profile pictures for Xander Hall, and then he just kind of like said winky face thank you and then flirted with you? Don't you feel like that's just kind of bad? Like you're suggesting or implying that there should be a feeling there instead of taking the combination of words that they're giving you and saying that this is what they're defining."
Yeah, that makes sense to me, where it would be like, don't you, like, so I don't want to watch the whole interview on stream, so I'm like synopsizing. I encourage everybody to go and watch the interview if you know, like, even if you trust my, like, retelling of events, I highly suggest that everybody goes and watches that, because obviously, like, I can't remember everything perfectly. But to my understanding, Tyler was never like, doesn't it feel like you were indoctrinated into a cult? Or doesn't it feel like she kind of, like, ripped you off? I don't think that he ever said it like that. I think, and I'm pretty sure that he reads the messages on this call. He's like, oh, it sounds like she was, like, doing wage theft. That's, like, all he says. It's not like, oh, don't you feel like she, like, ripped you the fuck off? Like, it wasn't that way, right?
Yeah, journalists still always push back and will continue to push back. Like, if somebody's describing, so for example, this happened with Lisa, Steve Jobs' daughter from his first marriage. He, like, denied, even though they had a blood test that said he was absolutely the father and everything else. She wrote this whole book about what it was like growing up as Steve Jobs' daughter. And people she met said, I'm so sorry you had such an abusive childhood. That sucks. Like, with your mom being mentally ill and your dad. And she said, what was abusive? It's very normal for some teens to not have a bedroom at their dad's house and for their dad to deny their existence for a very long time. And it took multiple interviews for Lisa to realize, oh, they're talking about me being abused and my dad being the abusive one. Oh, shit. Oh, he was a really bad father and really unkind. And while she doesn't write about it like that, people coming to her and saying, that's not normal. What you're talking about and describing are things that are incredibly inappropriate for, not inappropriate, abusive for this parent to be doing. That is not an inappropriate thing when someone is recounting their series of events, nor is it coercive to tell someone, this is what it sounds like you're actually describing. Were you even aware that something like that could have happened?
Yeah, I guess I could see it, I can see it, but I guess I just don't agree with it, because I would say, like, I think that just because Tyler was like, oh, it sounds like wage theft, I wouldn't say that he's, like, loading this one way or another. It sounds to me like he was just like, oh, no, what you're describing sounds familiar. And I mean, it is possible that maybe he was doing that. I don't know. I'm not, like, in his fucking head or whatever, but, like, just hearing it, like, out loud, that's not what it sounds like to me at all.
I think people's expectation of how much... So people's expectation that journalists can remove all their bias sounds like a very 1970s version of people also expecting historians to be able to scientifically perfectly report events. And that's very outdated. Every journalist has bias. That's why you see journalists starting to push back a little bit whenever they're interviewing, like, let's say, a despot and saying, but what you did was wrong. Do you recognize that now, or whatever else? So expecting that they aren't going to have a bias or at least pushback or some sort of a perspective is unreasonable, I think. Like, he's not going to be in there like a droid.
Yeah, and I don't, just in the way that, you know, he talks about it, it doesn't sound to me like he was, like, goading it on. It was just like, oh, it sounds like blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I guess it is blah, blah, blah. And then they just carried on. So, I mean, I just don't see it that way. I can see the argument as to why, like, people are saying that, but I guess I just don't agree with it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Also, why does it feel so, I don't know if invasive is the right word, exploitative, for Sunday to keep bringing up that traumatic brain injury and then also to keep talking to Tyler like, this is not for you, man. You are not talking with any care about the wellness of that man whatsoever. Don't be so diminishing. That's like saying, listen, I don't want to raise my voice to you because I know that you've had a violent rape happen against you. And I understand that during that violent attack, somebody raised their voice to you. Like, now you're just doing that in order to diminish me in some way. Why is that? What is that? Is that even real?
I don't know, man. It feels yucky. I don't have the words to articulate what it is, but yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it.
There has to be a term in particular in which you talk to somebody that is like for a child soldier or something, and in which I think exploitation is the only word that I can think of, in which you are trying to either get them to have an emotional reaction to what you're talking about, or it's like gonzo journalism almost, where you want
you're just
them
like unnecessarily needling, yeah.
Yes, like you want them to have a reaction of some sort. It does. It feels like exploitation, for lack of a better term. It's very gross. I hate it.
I would agree with that. Okay, I have to finish watching this because I have shit that I have to do tonight. I love you so much.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Okay, let's keep going. I must depart soon. I have things that I have to do this evening, but let's see how much of this we can get through.
I didn't. I did a pre-interview.
Yes, you did.
You don't even know what that is. You don't know what a pre-interview is, do you?
Beg your pardon?
Tell me what a pre-interview is.
What a pre-interview is?
Pre-interview is? Yes.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay, so it just so happens, just to be clear, so it just so happens that you who have been attempting...
He's not going to answer this question because he doesn't know what it is, and he's Googling it right now, so he's just going to, like, start talking, and then by the time that he's ready to give an answer, it's because he's Googled what it is, just so you guys know.
Specifically to accuse Demon Mama of wage theft and of white forces being involved.
Well, I didn't attempt to accuse her
Glooby,
of it.
Glooby, you actually, I think you actually, if memory serves, you can correct me on this, I believe you actually said that white force was a pedophile ring, no?
Did I call it a pedophile ring? When did I say that?
That's been reported to be third-hand. I don't watch your content.
Oh, that's been reported to be third-hand. Oh, yeah, fucking Mr. Reese.
See, why the fuck would you even bring that up? Like, you could... He's just so fucking triggered. He's so mad. Why would you... I don't even watch your videos about anything, but I've heard third-hand that you said this really fucking crazy thing. Like, why would you even bring that up in the argument? Like, we're just grasping at straws. He's so frazzled. He's outclassed. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. He's waffling.
Search Mr. fucking journalistic standards.
Well, I can find it afterwards. We can just
by third-hand, or do you mean the fucking Doe sent you another message? The fucking
no.
fucking
Doe doesn't send me many things with respect to you.
Oh no, of course.
In fact, I'm not really on talking terms with Doe.
Victim. That's who they sent it to.
Excuse me.
Whenever the victim speaks up,
I actually can't understand what you're saying, Tyler, because you're kind of spiraling out.
I'm not.
Okay, this is again, Tyler stutters like that because he has a traumatic brain injury. Tyler, you're being too fucking schizophrenic. I can't understand you, you crazy bitch. It's like, bro, he has a traumatic brain injury. Can you chill for 1 second? Oh my god. What? That, see?
A little, you are.
I'm watching right now I'm watching the fucking volume on my mixer.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you take the moment, take the opportunity to take a breath.
Dude, just fucking think faster. Be quicker. Stop drinking so much.
And then I'm sure President Sunday is going to whine about how, like, Tyler made fun of him for drinking, but he's been sitting here taking shots at his literal fucking brain injury. Ugh.
You'll catch up.
Catch up to what, Tyler?
Catch up to the fucking conversation you're getting left behind it. Come on. I didn't...
Tyler, when you were handling...
Do you know that? Do you know what a pre-interview is?
See, he Googled it, so now he knows.
Do you? Answer it. Just say,
he's got to open the tab.
It is a discussion you have with the interviewee where you discuss the parameters and the things that we discussed in advance.
Yeah, see, he had to Google it.
I didn't introduce any concepts.
Well, that's the thing, Tyler. See, sort of like how one or two voice calls the one or two voice calls we had, so you can just lay anything you want into the claim and claim that the accusations you made against me falsely, they happened in there. They happened in the dream.
Got the information together. Now you're fucked, dude. You're
See, and then he's making fun of him. He's like, I got this information revealed to me in a dream. Meanwhile, he literally just now pulled out of his ass, didn't you call White Force a pedophile ring? And he's like, when did I say that? And he's like, oh, I don't know, I got it third hand, I don't watch any of your shit. Now it's incredulous. Now it's just fucking unheard of and cuckoo bananas. But when President Sunday just, like, throws shit at the wall to see what sticks, that's integrity, guys. That's integrity.
Fucked.
Really?
You're fucked 3 ways from Sunday because you don't.
So well, actually, it's very simple, Tyler. I am curious about this, and I'll eat crow if I'm wrong. But if I were to ask Glooby directly, Tyler, if I may, if I were to ask Glooby directly,
no comment check. Turn off your fucking notifications.
Directly, hey Glooby, did you specifically say that in your judgment you think that White Forest or Demon Mama's community or what have you was a cult and that you were a victim of wage theft first, or did Tyler introduce those terms? And then Glooby can say yes or no, right?
No.
And then again, so for somebody who believes so much in the integrity of the victim, what did we write down here, you guys? Because this was on here. What did he say? Glooby is endangered, okay? Glooby is like this dangerous or like a vulnerable, like poor baby bird that needs to be protected at all costs. And I'm being hyperbolic, but obviously like Glooby is in an exceptionally vulnerable position. Given his relationship to these people, given that he, of course, has essentially dirt on them, right? Like there's a lot that goes into this for sure, okay? Glooby is somebody that has been endangered by Tyler recording an interview and uploading it. He's been endangered, okay? President Sunday wants to get this random fucking person that he talked to for like 1 second that arguably, I'm not saying this definitively, arguably President Sunday like triggered this person so fucking much that they had a fucking seizure. He wants to message this person in the middle of the fucking night to say, hey girl, to win what? A stupid fucking argument. You talk endlessly about the integrity of the victim, but you're happy to wheel the fucking victim out in a fucking jester's cap to do cartwheels in front of you and the entire court so you can feel like you're actually the one that's in the right and doing the right thing. So, like, at the beginning, I was on Sunday's side like pretty heavily, where I was like, yeah, this could have been done a little bit better. But after kind of watching everything unravel, it's like President Sunday doesn't give a shit, if not less of a shit, than Tyler did about Glooby, okay? And I'm not saying Tyler didn't give a shit about Glooby, but I mean, it's clear that he has like, you know, he wants to take shots at White Forest and White Nervosa and all these other people, sure, okay? President Sunday literally just wants to win a meme argument on fucking YouTube.com. We care about the integrity so much, you guys. I care about the victims, and I care about the victims. Oh, you were talking shit about me? Let me call up this victim of, like, childhood grooming so I can fucking dunk on you on a fucking YouTube debate. Cringe.
That's that simple. It's that simple, right? I could just ask.
I mean, hold on. Give me a sec.
Give you a sec. What are you doing, Tyler?
I'm looking at screenshots.
You're looking at screenshots of what?
Tyler, I'm an ex-mod friend working for Demon Mom. I've had some experience with the Pseudophon that are sexual in nature. This is from...
Who's this from?
This is from Glooby when I first started talking to him. Unfortunately, it says today at 27.
Well, may we see these?
No.
Do you have permission to publish these?
I mean, probably, but I'm not going to fucking post
Probably,
them.
but you're going to read them out for us, right?
Yeah, like literally.
What are you, stupid?
No, literally. Yeah, I'm just fucking read. If you
but you're not going to ask Glooby first? So hang on, just to be clear.
Posture. You're not going to ask Glooby if you can read one sentence from the message where the interview that he already gave literally says this verbatim. Like, yes, I could go and bother Glooby, or I could dig through the screenshots that I have right in front of me, look and see, did I say wage theft first, or did Glooby say wage theft first? Like, we care a lot about that. We care so much. We care so much, you guys, so much.
Just to be clear, you do not know if your source is going to give you permission to publish these. But you're going to read them out for us?
No, I know I have permission to publish it, you fucking idiot.
I just asked you if you have. I just asked you if you had permission to publish them, and you said you don't know.
No comment, chicks.
I just asked you. Publishing is publishing, but you read it out first. So this is where we are.
I don't know if I have permission to post things in no comment, chicks.
Yeah, that's what you meant the first time, right? Yeah. Tyler, are you sure you got permission to publish in no comments? Yeah, that's what you thought. Yeah, that'll stick. That'll work, Tyler. More spit.
Come on, spiral out for me. Mm-hmm. You ever notice that I get calmer and you get madder as the conversation goes on?
I mean, that's true.
Calm, actually. Completely calm, Tyler.
Let's see.
All right, so do you need to post something? If you need to post something, there's a text channel in here, right? If you're needing to share something and you're sure you got permission, then
no, chat just want to mod this dog. This is the content. This is how it works.
All right, I'm gonna wind down a little bit, you guys. However, this is predominantly what we're just dealing with here, because we're gonna loop endlessly on the same point. To my recollection, it's revealed that Tyler said wage theft first. Tyler was the first one in that chat to use the phrase wage theft, which in my opinion doesn't really show much of anything. Because like the example that I gave earlier, like if somebody describes something to me, even if I'm interviewing them and they describe something to me and I'm like, oh, that kind of sounds like you're describing da-da-da. And then they say, oh yeah, I guess it is da-da-da. And then going forward, they use that word. I don't think that that's like a leading question. And it's not necessarily about the cult shit. It's not necessarily about the grooming shit or anything like that, because notice that the only thing that he takes specific umbrage with is that his character is being impugned, one, and then two, that he's using this as like a greater campaign to like attack White Forest, Demon Mom, and all these other people that are adjacent in this community, because the only thing that he cares about is the phrase wage theft. That's the only thing that he cares about. And again, this is like an autistic, pedantic, like, hang up on the idea that somebody who is not being paid fairly, that technically speaking, under the strictest definitions of this word, this does not constitute wage theft, and we have to be very serious and very precautious about the way that we use certain words. But literally, definitionally, just underpaying somebody for their work is also wage theft. Like, definitionally speaking, yes, it is. Unless, of course, we're using the big brain theory definition that only President Sunday is smart enough to understand. I think that, again, if I can, cast the reel it all the way back really quick, I think a few things are true about the situation. One, Tyler could have done a better job separating out all of these different accusations, because wage theft and pedophilia are quite a far stretch away from each other and should have been addressed in different claims, in different videos, in whatever capacity possible. Two, I think that it is undeniable that at a certain point in time, whether it be very recent or somewhat recent or not very recent, that President Sunday has ran defense for Doe, Demon Mama, all these people, because they used to be tight. So it would make sense to me that, President Sunday would run defense for these people, at least in the somewhat near future. And I think that a lot of the criticisms that Sunday have just fall really short, because anything that he levies as a criticism is something that can be, like, very easily kind of said like, oh, well, this isn't an issue because of XYZ. And it's like he has, again, these endless criticisms for everybody else's hit pieces. And if this is something that he really cares about, okay, then make your own. You're the one that has the journalistic integrity. You have the knowledge. You have the wherewithal. You have the power. You have the fucking time. Okay, if this is an important issue, then you make it. Like, it's obviously you can criticize whatever you want, you guys. Everybody has criticisms for whatever. But at some point, it's like, okay, you can only have a criticism for this for so many moons before it's like, okay, well, fuck you. Where's your hit piece? Like, okay, we get it. You didn't like it. It wasn't up to you. Okay, fine. Okay, you could do better, then do better, right? Like, it's like the dude who sits on his ass watching the Olympics and he's like, I could do that. That's easy shit. I could do that. It's like, okay, fat ass, then get up and you join the fucking Olympics. It's like the same kind of where it's like, yes, you can criticize, the Olympic breakdancing or whatever, but it's like, okay, you spit on your head for 5 minutes. Mr. fucking athletics. Okay, go ahead. Like, at some point you have to put a little something forward. And I feel very, very strongly that I want so desperately to agree with President Sunday and some of his criticisms, because I think there are valid criticisms against the way that Tyler did this. But all the criticisms that he have are, it's projection, and it just comes across as like endlessly bitching, whining, moaning, crying, pissing, coming. It's so annoying. And the way that he acts towards Tyler is literally insufferable. Even if I did agree with him, listening to that conversation, like, fuck you, dude. Like, you just can't. He makes it so hard to like him. And it sucks because President Sunday is funny. President Sunday is charismatic. President Sunday is pretty intelligent. President Sunday does have a pretty rational head with most things, all things considered, right? Like, he's a funny guy. He can be really funny. But he's so unlikable in any kind of interpersonal dynamic. And he's burned the bridge with literally every single person conceivable. And he looks around and he's like, everybody around me is a snake. And it's like, if everywhere that you go smells like shit, check your shoes. You're at the point where people need to obviously like audio record conversations because you just lie about the content of the conversations. And I'm not saying that he's lying about sweeping for dough or whatever the fuck, but it's like, if somebody comes in here and they're like, Malcolm, you said da-da-da in a voice call. And I'm like, we've literally never had a voice call, so that's impossible. Boom, we're done. But if somebody comes in and they're like, Malcolm, you said this in a voice call. You've said before, I would never send this in a text message, but you said it in a voice call. It's like, okay, well, I didn't, but obviously I didn't record the conversation, so what am I supposed to do? Like, and then to loop back and be like, okay, well, show me the DM. It's like, it's just, it hurts my head. It makes my brain melt because generally speaking, heavy caveat, generally speaking, I feel like President Sunday is a pretty intelligent person. And for whatever reason, when he is embroiled in something like this, where he has some kind of personal, like, attachment to whatever the fuck is going on, oh my God, it's just fucking insufferable to listen to. Just absolutely fucking insufferable to listen to. And again, you can hear it if you listen for it. When he starts to get upset like that, he loops, he gets really bothered, he repeats himself a lot, his insults and everything fucking suck. Like, if you pay attention to it, you can hear it. And he definitely was dissatisfied. Or at the very least upset about that conversation. But President Castaway.